Welcome to Order 42. I am Rob, and tonight we're gonna be hanging out with my good buddy, my good friend. He's just a good dude all around. You know him, you love him. Grindhead Jim, what's going on, sir?
For a second, I thought you were going to call me Master Blaster. Shit.
What?
You know him, you love him. He's Blaster. Like from Thunderdome. He's bad. He's beautiful. He's crazy. It's the man with no name. Sorry, I love that movie. He's Blaster. I'm sorry. I just love that movie.
Now, am I? Oh, look at Eagle Ford. Vicky's here. Bucho's here.
Yo!
And Nightbot.
The Eagle has landed. The Bucho is here. Hi, guys.
And Nightbot, you need to just
Nightbot.
calm
You need
down
to.
over there.
Yeah.
We
I
had,
need to help you program that damn thing.
Yeah, we had a little problem last night.
Little tiff,
he
little
got-
argument with Nightbot.
Yeah, he got mad at me. He left. But he's back, and I think we're good now, right? We're good.
Was he like, I hate my school? And here,
Yeah,
and
just
then runs up the stairs, slams the door,
It was-
muffled crying against pillow.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was a whole
Nightbot's-
thing. It was a whole thing. Now, before we get like really into it with you, Jim, because
Okay. Yes.
there's a couple things I got to talk about.
All right.
First, yes, we've got we had some new follows the other night. Basically, what happened was I went into Jay's stream, just hanging out, and he basically he pimped me out to all of his peeps, and I got some follows. So I just wanna call those out real fast because I appreciate it. We have Tibbs19. We have Wraith Knight. Wraith, you and I we've talked a lot. So it's good to see you follow here.
I know Wraith.
Longshot X and Megatroll 69. I'm not sure what this whole 69 thing is, but I'm kidding.
I'll explain it to you when you're older.
Okay. But yeah, thank you guys for following. And if you're expecting Jay, because I announced it yesterday on the show, on my stream that Jay was supposed to be here, but he had to go do some game chasery things. So it's just, hey,
I'm sorry, I'm not Jay.
these things happen. But you're another name that starts with J. So you're just as good.
I mean,
It's
I
not
don't
bad.
belch like him. I'm not Jay. I love Jay to death, but I am very much not him.
But it's okay, because Jim and I, we're here's the thing, and I never want Jim to feel like he's second fiddle, but Jay had been saying, oh yeah, I want to be on the show for 2 weeks, and last week didn't work out, this week didn't work out, and I was like, okay, well, I was gonna have Jim on, And Bucho said, Jay's cool and all, but he's no Grindhead Jim. That's just a scientific
Bucho.
fact.
Oh, Bucho.
Hey, Bucho's...
My heart.
Yeah. Bucho is man.
However, if there were no Jay, I would not be here. I would not have ever met you.
Oh, that's
probably.
true. That's true.
So,
That's true.
I mean,
It's kind of funny, though, when you say it that way. None of those guys would have followed if it wasn't for Jay. They wouldn't have known who
Yep.
I was. In fact, most of my followers wouldn't have followed if it weren't for Billy and Jay. So
right.
we owe them a lot. We owe them
Yes.
our friendship. Our friendship is due to them.
Yes.
I mean, there's just... Hey,
I mean, there's other factors I'm not going to go into, but
Yeah.
you know the story of how I came to be in this circle, like the logistics that went into me even being in Dallas, Fort Worth. It was this perfect, like, storm of events that just led to just lining up perfectly, and I just plopped myself into the area. I just shat myself into the DFW, and here we are. And it didn't stink. It's amazing. It was a stinkless poop.
it's like
kick in.
it's those poops where you don't even have to wipe. You're like, wow, that was
Yeah.
weird. It was just like a
And for
boom, you know, and you're just like,
You're right. And you go to wipe and you're like, there's nothing there. It's insane.
Look, we're not gonna. This isn't gonna be the poop channel. Just saying.
No.
But you get you get what we're saying. I think
Right.
I think they get what we're saying.
Yeah.
But now let me just ask right off the top. Let's you know, because people want to know. How was it the other weekend when you did some extra shooting? Is there anything
yeah.
that you can tell us about?
I mean, yeah. I it's not a plot point,
Right.
and it was something that was actually in the trailer, so you know I can divulge a little bit. There's a shot in the trailer where I have my ear up to a door, and I freak out and run off.
Yes.
And then you later see Billy and Jay speaking in front of the same house that you saw me in front of. Well, in between that, I'm hiding, and because I don't want to get caught. And there was the way the scene is constructed, it went from me hiding, and then it cuts like 10 feet out of their walk. Like the way the coverage worked, the way the shots had, it would burp, burp, burp. And he says, well, I need something in there. I need an insert of you doing something in the bush to add a beat to what's happening and allows me to make this cut happen. So Billy shoots me a message. He had done so the week before. He was like, I'm trying to get permission to go back to this location. It never happened. And then last week, I get a message. Hey, are you available? Yes. I got the location. Cool. We got to leave like almost right away because we're chasing a rainstorm. He says the lighting is perfect, but if it rains, we're screwed. So I leapt into the shower and tried to make myself look Roy, and he actually finally got the long sleeve shirt from that scene from Jay. We have been after that shirt for months, trying to get that shirt and other parts of that costume in the same place. Now he has them. Now I have them. So any Roy costume item, I now have. So I need them for shoots, and they're probably gonna. At some point, I'm going to put them in some kind of a frame that it's easy to take them out of. So, like for conventions and crap. I mean, I'm thinking long term here. Because people like that stuff. I do. So, so he gives me the address again, and I go, and you know, I'm trying to outrun this freaking rainstorm, and the whole time, like, you know, it's stupid. But it was like a little adventure. And then just before I get to the location, it cleared up. Like the rain, there was a little tiny bit of misting while we were there, but the storm was passing that by. And we got lucky. So I get there, just me and Billy. And that was so cool because you didn't have this great big crew of people around. There wasn't like a mad rush to do things. We were in a hurry, but we had time. So we're essentially filling 3 or 4 seconds of space with this shot. There was something specific that he needed, a certain way that he wanted me to look, and he was working on finding an angle. He took it from about 6 or 7 different angles. I tried about 3 or 4 different ways to achieve it, and we talked about it. We said, okay, what do we want here? Like, we going comedic, we going for play it straight but could be funny. And he said, and as usual, he's like, well, let's mix all of it up. So we tried that. We were there for like almost 2 hours doing this. And for this 3 seconds, yeah. But we had so much fun with it. Like, at the end of it, we did like 7 or 8 takes, which we knew were not going to go in. But we were just playing. We were having fun. We were creating. We were being filmmakers, right? And it was this moment he and I had moments like this on the set for principal photography, but we didn't really get a chance to play. Right. To just have fun. Him being a director, me being an actor, and being friends now for a couple years, and that solidifying through the movie, like that helped too. So we got to know each other even better from, like, we've gotten to know each other through other means, obviously, since, but we got to connect more on a creative level there, and it was a lot of fun. But he knew what he could get out of me. I knew what to expect from him. It was just more fun than it had been before. And so like the last bunch of takes were like, do something crazy, like go overboard with it. So at one point, because you're finding me, click into the bush, and I got this idea of what if I get caught on the bush, but I'm trying so hard to be quiet, but I'm hurt or I'm mad, and I'm like, and just like biting my hand and stuff, and there was one take where I just was like scared. I'm like, just trying not to scream and stuff. We had too much fun with it. And he's laughing. Like, he actually doubled over at one point in one of the takes. And that was like, that's...
It's so weird because, like, I know exactly what you mean, right? I do. I know exactly what you mean. There's especially, I mean, anything like that, where you're filming, even if it's for a video, if you can make another person laugh, it's great. But for some reason with Billy and Jay, it's different. It's like something happens when I hang around those guys where there's whatever this level is that I have. Like, sometimes I'm a little more subdued on the show here, and sometimes I'm a little crazier. For some reason, it just goes all the way to 11. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's just boot up. Yeah, exactly. All the boot up crap.
Yeah.
It's just a weird thing. It's just a weird thing that happens. And then I mean, I've talked about this too many times, but like during filming, it was tough because I had a job to do, and I couldn't. Right. I had to keep going from, okay, I was on 11. Now I need to be down here at 4 or 3 because I've got to focus on what I'm doing. And then sometimes behind me, there's cutting up going on that I don't want to be a part of, and I can't be because I've got to focus on. I mean, it was crazy. But you're absolutely right. The pickup shots have been so much fun because there's time to breathe. There's not this. We've got this much time to get this done. We got to go. So yeah,
and you don't have to worry about wasting anyone's time because it was just the two of us.
Right.
And the owners of the house, they have spoilers. They had people that are renting that house now, so we had to coordinate with the owner. It was still okay, but then coordinate with the residents. And I think I got a delivery in the middle of it, and some boxes on the thing, and then this teenage boy sticks his head out. He's I'm like, you're fine. Get your packages. It's okay. I'm not in the middle of like a soliloquy or anything. You're okay. Like, this isn't Shakespeare. We're all right. Appreciate you though. I think I broke him.
No, you got me thinking. Do we need a Roy soliloquy in the movie? How funny would that be?
You mean like the when the sinister was like ha ha ha, like the evil laugh and all that stuff? No, I think you get some of that.
I was thinking, well, and I mean, this is not spoilers because it's I just thought of it, so it can't be a spoiler for the movie because it's probably never going to happen. But I just thought it would be funny for a guy who's, I mean, yeah, you're kind of one of the bad guys, right? Mm-hmm. For you to sit there and then we get to get inside your head for a second. And it could just be a mess. There's no telling what's going through Roy's head at some of these moments. And it would just be funny to just stop for a second and you're like looking off into the distance and you're thinking about all kinds of weird crap. It would be funny.
So like what Roy's thinking about when he's not actively participating in the events of the film kind of thing?
I don't know. Look,
that could be something for a future endeavor. I mean, I think that would be interesting.
It could be anything. It could be a special feature.
That was one of the things that Billy was saying was that all those extra takes. He said, "Look, if nothing else, we just padded the gag reel pretty hard.
Uh,
There's a lot of like busted takes and can you see me okay?
yeah.
Something
No,
wrong?
I'm
Okay.
sorry. I'm
It's okay.
looking because I want to make a note of it because it could be something. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll shoot it. Even if it's just for extra features.
Well,
Like it'd be like it'd be like a mini episode. It'd be like Inside the Mind of Roy special feature.
what? Well,
You
I
kinda
was
like,
thinking.
I know, you know what? I got it. What if Roy did an interview in front of the green screen, like Game Chaser style, in character?
Yeah, and he's
Yeah. Why am I here?
yeah. What?
Or like he's tied to the chair,
Yeah.
like they caught him afterwards, like will you let me out of this chair? Just answer our questions.
No,
you can leave
in the chair.
Oh,
in
yeah.
the chair.
Right.
And you're being
Yeah.
interviewed. Well, look, I just had a ton of ideas and I just wrote them down. And I'll run them
Cool.
I'll run them by Billy. You never know. You never know
It's
what's
cool.
going to happen. Because,
Yeah, exactly. Because like we've talked about this before, but the first additional shot that I did back in July, that the whole impetus for that, well, half the impetus of it was, he needed some insert shots with the drone, and then he needed a green screen me into that. Well, the green screen shot that he used could have been taken anywhere. Okay, so the shot we were there for, he could have gotten anywhere, literally. What we were there for was something that Scott, the producer, and I came up with, which was, what happens to Roy after a certain thing occurs? Because there's an assumption about his fate, and we were like, this character is too good. We can't do that, because what if you want to bring him back? So you want to leave it open. And I said, I scripted something. I said, here's what I'm thinking. So I gave him a blocking idea, and I gave him a script idea. He's like, I like that. And you weren't sure how serious he was taking you, because all of a sudden he's like, but sure enough, 8 months later, we shot that exactly as I had envisioned it.
see,
And that was super cool.
yeah, and I think that's one of the things about making a movie like this was that there was room. There was room for
Room to play.
anybody, and I mean anybody. If they had an idea that could make the movie better, let's do it,
Yeah.
And there was no ego on that. And that's one of the
No.
things that I don't think people really get about those guys. You know what I mean?
They want it to be the best that it can be, regardless of where the idea comes from, and they're really good about giving credit to everybody. It would be really easy for them to take credit in this case, and they've always been quick to say, like, well, Melvor was a big part of the script, even though he wasn't actively there with the shooting of the film and everything. And I made it a point to talk to him extensively at the Toy Fair last year. When I did get a chance to see him, hey, thanks for writing this. This has been great, man.
Oh, to Melvor. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and he, you could tell he's disappointed that he wasn't there, and that maybe things went in a direction that maybe he wouldn't have done, but he's like really happy with it. Like kind of the thing where you ever get a gift for like your birthday or for Christmas that you would never buy for yourself,
Yes.
but when you get it, you're like, this is perfect. I would never have thought of this.
Right.
And that, I think, was kind of the vibe I got off of Melvor. It's like, this is not what I thought it was going to be, but fucking it's good, kind of thing.
That's Yeah, it's funny because there's that part of me that says I could talk about this. I mean, seriously, I could do probably a 2-3 shows a week talking about my experiences on that movie. But the problem is, I feel like for a while there, people were just like, okay, well, now I just want it to come out. I don't need to get any more hyped about it. I don't need to hear any more talk about it. But the thing is, there's just so much. It's amazing what we did in 3 weeks. And then it's amazing which is over a year ago now, which is mind-boggling to me.
Yes, very much so.
But again, there was so much. I don't know. It's like I don't know how. I haven't been on a Game Chasers episode shoot yet. I don't know what that's actually like, you know? But if it's anything like this, it's like, you guys need somebody to hold something or anything. You need anything?
They always need a camera person. They always need a camera person.
It's pure creation. It's pure.
Yeah.
Just, it's so much fun. And when you have people that just want the best stuff, they don't care if it's their idea or anybody else's. They just want the best stuff. That's
right.
It's rare.
It really is, and it's. I said it before. I made it a point to say it dozens of times on the set because I was trying to make a point in that I've done, next level creative stuff with music and everything else, and when you're at a really high level, it's difficult to find people you can actually work with that really want what's best for you, and every day you go to a new place to play your show, you're at the mercy of a crew you've never met.
Yeah.
So you have to go through that same process that we went through on the film every single day. And sometimes you get the perfect crew of people and the right combination of factors, and it just works. And when you're on tour with a couple bands and their crew, and you go to these venues where they have a good stagehand union or whatever, and everything just clicks because they want the show to be the best for the people that are paying the money to do it. There's a vibe there you can't describe unless you've experienced something like that. And the crew and shooting experience for the Game Chasers movie was right up there with the best creative experiences I've ever had. And what was cool about it was that the role that I was in the film, I'm used to having to run the ship a little bit, always, wherever I go, because it's something that I'm directly involved with. This was cool for me because all I had to do was be creative and have fun. And that's the best. That's the best feeling. Just to be able to show up and be like, hey guys, I'm here. Bing, 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 here's your makeup, ding, ding. It's beautiful. And then you have me go out and act like a goofball for a couple hours, and then I wait and then do it again, and it's great.
Yeah, and
it's a cool experience.
I can't remember hold on, I was gonna
say something. I forgot what I was gonna say, and because then you said the one thing, and then the other thing went away.
No, it wasn't that. It was I was right. Update. So, guys, if you hadn't seen that's Billy posted this. It's a video on the progress of the movie and the progress of the upcoming Blu-ray seasons. That's great. So if you hadn't seen that's really, really nice. Billy put that up.
Spoiler alert, it's Billy beating himself up about not doing things as quickly as he would like for about a half hour.
But that's
really what it boils down to. It's good information.
There's some good footage.
But Billy's it's a great video.
Yeah.
And it's important if you're excited about the movie.
Yeah.
But Billy does beat himself up a bit much.
Yes, he does. But
in it.
It's good.
It's definitely a good.
And you might see, a couple of familiar faces in that video as well.
I don't think I'm in that one.
Oh, no?
I don't know. I don't think I am. I might be. I don't know.
Well, it's always a surprise when I see myself in one of those videos.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's me. It's like,
right.
I'm a nobody.
I have a similar feeling with it in the sense that, like, in a video like that, you don't have to put me in anything. The only thing I have to be in for the movie to work is the movie.
Right.
So I'm always very grateful when I see my fat ass somewhere. I enjoy it, and it's fun. And loath as I am of the year 2020 and what it's done for everyone, I should say, and to the the halting nature of what it's done to getting the movie out, it has kind of extended the lead up process in a positive way as well, because we have the time to have all these discussions and stuff. And I like that because, you know, I am hoping we get to do a proper behind the scenes interview suite, you know, where key members of the cast and crew get to sit in front of that green screen on that stupid metal folding chair. Because I'm telling you, for a Game Changers movie, that's how it has to be done. It has to be.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've always wanted to be in that kind of an interview. Always, my whole life. Like, because that's the best. And having these discussions with you and with them, it's reminded me over and over, okay, when the time comes, I want to talk about this, I want to talk about this, I want to talk about this. I've molded this story to sound that much funnier when I tell it. And can't wait for that stuff, because I know that as big of a film buff as Billy is, and a collector and special features and stuff, I think that he's really going to want to like pump that up.
Yeah.
I hope so. Even if he just takes raw interviews, unedited from everybody, and just throws them on the disc, that'd be fine. But I know him. He's going to take all that stuff and edit into something really cool. And even if he doesn't, like, it's like he could just, again, you could just throw raw interview footage up there.
Yeah.
And as a fan, I would watch that stuff over and over again. When I buy a movie, I watch that stuff more than I watch the movies half the time.
Yeah.
You know, I get so into that crap.
There's something about it. It's just, I guess it's I don't know what it is. But
I just like knowing how the sausage is made.
I've been that way since I was like 7, 8 years old.
Same.
I mean, I
remember there was a special on Return of the Jedi on TV, which is on either the DVD or the Blu-ray set. I have the disc.
Is it from Star Wars to Jedi, The Making of a Saga?
Yeah, it's the one with the guy who has Sir Lacius coming and goes, "Hello out there in TV land."
Yep. That's the first one for me too.
Yeah, that was the first one that I remember. I know I've seen other ones, but that's the first one I remember, and being really sucked into. Okay, cool. You know, because for some people, they don't want to see this kind of trash because it takes them out of the fantasy of the film. For me, it enhances it because you look at how much work has been done. Because I think that as someone who really enjoys the medium of film in particular, or any medium, music included, when something speaks to you on an artistic level, you want to know if the people that were making it had any inkling of what they were messing with.
Yeah.
You know? Sometimes you find out that the best stuff comes out of a mistake. Mm-hmm. You find out, like, for example, like, the Ewoks were supposed to be Wookiees, but he already had Wookiees, so he just chopped them in half and called them Ewoks. Like, that was his explanation of how it worked.
Yeah.
But you gotta have a little bullfrog thing going. Like, you gotta.
I don't have that anymore.
I can't. What is that? Is that like a flesh awning? Like, what is that?
I mean, it is like, I don't even know.
I think he's part Gungan. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's.
But yes,
I
totally get what you mean, though, because it's like you like seeing the candid nature of it from behind the scenes. And what's so, I got to tell you, you have Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen or heard of Mank?
No.
M-A-N-K. Came out yesterday. It's David Fincher's new movie, and it's about basically the screenwriter of Citizen Kane. And what's so cool is you see his story, and it's all like almost all behind the scenes stuff. And you see him on movie sets, and you hear the terms that we heard when we were on set. And it's,
so is this like a biopic or is it a documentary? A little bit of both.
It's a biopic. It's David Fincher, right? It's a new movie. Gary Oldman plays Herman Mankiewicz.
Okay, all right. David Fincher and Gary Oldman.
No,
say no more. I don't care if Gary Oldman plays Kermit the fucking Frog.
I'm telling you,
I'm gonna watch that movie.
I'm telling you, trust me. Video is going up on YouTube very soon. I'm going to do a review of this movie because I Oh, I loved it so much because so you have David Fincher, whom I
Yep.
love, Gary Oldman,
Hmm.
period style sound, so it actually sounds like it was made back then.
Oh, so he filmed it as though it was a
Well, he
documentary.
filmed it with a red camera, but it's all in black and white. It's gorgeous. It's now listen to the soundtrack. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. So my guy doing a
Yep.
period style. It doesn't sound like Nine Inch Nails at all. It sounds like like a soundtrack from back then. It is insane, and I
Pretty
loved it.
cool.
Again, the red camera, right? Digital filmmaking, all in black and white. It looks amazing. And he even went in and made the little the cigarette burns in the top right corner to change the it's great, man.
That's awesome. Now,
It's a film geeks. Ugh.
speaking of camera things, a little tiny tidbit of information
Yeah.
from the little shoot. First of all, that camera that he got, the shots look amazing, and Peter has one, and I kept poking him like, so like we're gonna do 2 cameras on the next film, right? He goes, yeah. He says, I love this camera. I'm not renting anything else. Like this is the thing. Like he's really happy with it. So that was such a boon for me because it does look so good. And he showed me how it cut in, and you can't tell. You can't tell. Which is both. On one hand, it's like, oh man, that's great. On the other hand, it's like, because he told me that he says, I would be regretful that we didn't just buy this camera then, but it hadn't barely come out when we were shooting the movie. Like this came out right after. So it's not like we missed the boat on this camera.
Right.
Like now we have it, like you could be like a kid at Christmas now, because I've got a film camera now. Like this is the thing. And the fact that Peter has one means that it opens up so much you can do with blocking. Think of how much time you'll be able to save. Shooting dialogue scenes from 2 angles and getting everything at once.
Yes.
Like, then you look at a 3-week schedule and you go, holy crap, how much more we could have gotten done. Like, you literally are cutting the shots in half.
But you also have to have more lighting. You have to have I mean it definitely complicates things, and I think one of the things that, and just because it's kind of like, you don't know what you don't know,
True.
when you get started. The pre-production, him figuring out his shots and what he wants, he's going to have to do a lot more on that. And I remember he was,
Yeah.
I remember, before shooting, Billy was really sort of frustrated. He's like, I don't want to do this. I want to think about this stuff. But I think the more he planned those shots out about what he wanted, because there was so much that we figured out on the day. Let's figure out how to shoot it on the day. Let's figure out the placement. Okay, let's not just scope out, this place looks like it might work. No, this is where we're going to have the camera, this lens, this is how far. All of that pre-planning has to be done beforehand on the next one.
Right.
If there is.
Like, just for that, for the shots that we did, he knew what he wanted. And he had a really good idea of how he wanted it to go. But we tried it a couple different ways because we had time. But like but in true Roy fashion, the first take was definitely usable. He's like, I got it. He says, but let's have fun with it. We're here. So we did. And we got a bunch of different stuff. Like there's a shot of Roy peeking out over the bushes and stuff. Like there's some cool stuff that we got. But you could tell he went in with a very clear idea of what he needed for that insert. And then everything else was just butter. It was just icing on the film cake. And to see that kind of growth, like I know it was in him.
Yeah.
But it's I'm just so excited for the next thing that they do, because I know how much better it's going to be in terms of their experience. Like they'll have more fun with it because they'll have that confidence, and they'll be more satisfied as they go. And I say that for both of them because I know that Jay puts on the best front in the world. He was stressing just as much as Billy was. He just picked his spots.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and there was the last night that Dave was on set, Jay had a couple drinks, and you could tell when the weight had left his shoulders a little bit, and how he was just very grateful for everything. And he was like, okay, we made it through. Everyone got paid. We're not going to get this yanked out from under us. The car actually worked for the shot that had to work for, and we have a plan for everything else. This is fine. And he finally allowed himself to feel that. And then a day later, you see Billy do the same thing when we're outside that trailer, and we called cut. You could physically see the guy just... And I feel like the next time around, there will still be a weight on their shoulders, but they've been through the rigors, so they won't feel it as much. And they're going to have more fun.
Well,
especially if that next project doesn't have Billy on camera, too.
Right. Well, and that's one of the things, too, that it's... Even me, who... the pressure was on me to do a good job, but it's not my thing, right? Like if let's just say that we went through 3 weeks of shooting and we get to the end and we go, none of this worked, right? If that's the thing, then I could easily go, okay, well, that was a good experience, and I move on. It didn't have that kind of effect on me. I want them to be able to feel and experience it and live it in the moment. Go, oh my God. Because I remember, I even asked Billy at one point, it was one of those rare times when he wasn't off doing 17 other things.
Right.
But I was like, so have you allowed yourself to be like, holy shit, I'm making a movie here? You know, have you had that moment? Have you allowed yourself to even be able to feel it? And he's like, no. He's like, I haven't really been able to enjoy it because I've got 12 things I'm thinking about. And while I'm trying to say my lines, I'm thinking about this other thing that whatever. He said, I haven't allowed myself to really be able to enjoy it. I haven't had the time to feel it. And then afterward, you could, in especially the weeks after, you could see the man, that was fun. That was so great, and getting to shoot, some of the I can't really say anything about the pickup shots that we did sort of a couple of weeks after principal photography. I think you know what I'm talking about, but I can't say much about it. But Jay was there, Billy was there, and we had some crew there. And it was a shot, it was a sequence that was just a blast to, in a weird kind of way, I got to co-direct a little bit. And
we talked about the shots you and I discussed last time we spoke.
Yes.
And he seemed very happy with what he got. He said it's one of those things where you can never get enough. He said, but what we got was really good. He says, is there some more stuff I'd like to try to get? Yes. But can I make what we have work now? Yes. And that's a huge weight. You could tell the weight was off his shoulder because that one sequence he's been stressing this whole time. Yep. Everything else is just making it, everything else that we have left essentially is polish. So I can divulge a little bit about what it is I have left to shoot. It's my one last thing I have to shoot, and we're talking about how it's going to happen. There's a part towards the end of the movie where we're at this flea market, and then we end up at what ultimately is the climax of the film. And although I run out of the shot, I run into this other place, there's enough communication on camera that I've gotten somewhere else, and it appears to track. In the edit of the film that I've seen, it worked. He said, we can pad that a bit more. There needs to be a greater... It needs to show, like, how far he might have had to go. Maybe there's some opportunities for some cool stuff in there. So we're looking at flea market type areas that we can have, well, Roy running. And I'm hoping we can make some cool beats happen during that. And he's been like saying like, well, you're going to have to run a bunch of times. I said, yeah. And you're going to have to wait for me to catch my breath a couple of times. But some of those takes, he has to be out of breath. Roy is in reality this big dude. He is going to be out of breath. So I said, I'm not training for this. I said, I'll do a few brisk walks over the next couple of weeks to build up my lungs a little bit. But I don't want to be in super great shape for this. I want him to look like an out of shape guy. And
method acting. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we joke about it, but that's literally what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
For the simple fact that going is not the same as actually being out of breath.
Right.
I know this because I've done both. And I've been out of breath and I've acted like I'm out of breath. And I can tell you that being out of breath, nothing is more out of breath than actually being out of breath. So it is my thought process is simple that I want, for any shot where it needs to be evident, like I want that to be real. Like even if the shot is me just walking into frame and him being out of breath, I will want to like be out of breath for that kind of thing. So, and for all I know, the shots are supposed to be like, here's a shot from like the waist down of him running. Here's a shot of him from the waist up running. Here's him looking back. Here's from this angle. Bumps into this kid, knocks over an old lady. Please, I hope we have an old lady I can knock over. How many times have you heard me say, dude, I would knock over an old lady for a cheeseburger, right? Or whatever. Like I say that. I would knock over an old lady for that. Like, I don't know when I came up with that phrase, but I've been saying it for like 15 years at least. And it's something that if we can get an old lady to knock over, you know, as Roy is trying to attain his goal, that would be so good because it'll become full circle, become part of the lexicon. We're not, spoilers, we're not going to find an old lady that's like, oh yeah, you can knock me over, it's fine. You know, like we're not going to have that. Although, come to think of it, there are a few people I know we could probably put like a cheesy psycho wig on.
That's what I was thinking.
And just have them from behind, all hobbled, and then we can just Foley in, and I'll even do the voice of, oh, you knocked me over, or, you know,
yeah,
or something, yeah. You know.
Well, I was going to say, you could do that. Have Jim's running toward the camera, a lady passes, but it could be, you know, a stunt person in a wig knocks into him, and then you just film the old lady already on the ground.
Right.
And she's
Yeah. I could just see myself like doing multiple takes, like Patrick's Farms and all this stuff. Like it'd be cool. I remember. Are you my grandson? You know. Is that a Nintendo?
Send a salami to your boy in the army. Yeah. All that stuff.
But I bought my war bonds, you know. Like just tons of stuff. Tapioca pudding. You know, you just it's tons of stuff you can do.
Look, that's the beautiful thing about it is that there can be all of those, you know.
And that's why this part of the process I think is fine to be so much more fun because there's less pressure to produce. Because you know you're going to come up with something good, and you can do all the fun stuff.
Right.
You know, I should bring that up to Bill. He'd be like, hey, I had an idea. And I know a few people who could probably pull it off. Because I know, like, well, to be just blunt, I know of a few young women who've got a nice, large, round buttocks. And if they bend over just the right way in the right costume, they're going to look like an old lady because of the butt. So you just find a cheesy, old, you know, paisley dress. You put them on a gray wig, put it in a bun, and then like it's easy. You just make that shit happen.
I dropped my fig Newtons.
I prefer pudding. You know, fig pudding. You know, tons of stuff. You know. Or because it's a flea market, I just came here to sell my wares. my crochet button. You know, there's like so many things they can say.
I mean, it's kind of like, I guess my thing is, old people is different now. Have you noticed
Old
that?
Old people is different?
Yes.
So is the English language, apparently.
But no,
syntax out the window. My syntax.
I guess it's what I was thinking is the term, like old people.
Oh yeah.
Like for me, when I think of the elderly, I'll just say
yes,
from the '80s is much different than the elderly of 2020. Right. I almost feel like you need that, like what I think of as the elderly from the '80s.
Right.
Is what you need.
Yeah, because it is technically a period piece.
Right.
Technically.
Kind of.
If you, in the sense of your suspension of disbelief says this had to have happened 10 years ago for it to work in the confines of what that show is on YouTube.
Well, right.
So a super fan's going to know this happened 10 years ago.
Right.
And we are suspending our disbelief that Billy has muscles and then lost them before they started the show somehow. Like he's not ripped for the spoilers. If you haven't watched the Game Chasers on YouTube, he's not ripped for the first 3 seasons.
Yeah.
By season 4, he just shows up and he's got muscles and a mane of flowing hair, and he's become who he is today. Same with Jay to a certain degree. He was always muscular, big dude, but he committed to fitness around the same time. Like they both kind of like, oh, we're on camera. I don't know what the impetus was. Eagle Ford, I know. I'm sorry. Look, I'm not that far behind you. I'll get there. I've got the I say this knowing I am right. I'm going to be that person someday. But I envision, but I think, but within the context of the film, it does. I think the humor of that joke has to be that this is not a typical senior citizen. This is like the idealization of the elderly person. Just oh well, I'm just little cane and all that stuff. Like a combination of the killer in Psycho, Norman Bates' mom.
Yeah.
So like him in that get up, crossed with like Tweety Bird's grandma, like something in between those two things. That's what I would want if I'm gonna knock over an old lady for humorous effect. That's what I want it to be.
Mrs. Deagle. Gremlins.
But if she was nice.
Right.
Because the thing is, if we could actually get that actor to play her,
yeah.
I mean, she's probably not around.
Yeah.
But how amazing would that be to actually knock over Mrs. Deagle? And then be like, Deagle! I don't know. It'd be dumb. And then knocks the old lady over, and maybe he gets one last hiss in, like, ow! And then just keeps running. Just, I don't know.
Dude, you just don't know. I mean, you do. I know you do.
Yeah, I do.
But you
like,
you
how
guys,
much fun?
I'm telling you, it's just a joy. It's so much fun.
Yeah, and that's why I'm exploring this stuff live while we're talking about it, because you get to that glimpse into that this is like the adult equivalent of when we were kids, playing with our G.I. Joes and our Transformers and our Star Wars toys and making up stories. And what if this happened? And just being able to shape a world, to tell a story. Musicians do this, comedians do it, actors do it, directors do it, writers do it. And that joy of collaboration when you go from something being an idea to actually seeing it happen. Like we did that with that one shot back when I was actually doing it. It was everything I could do, not just be like, we're actually doing the thing that I had with my idea, and it was so fulfilling. And then he sent me it inserted into the footage, and I'm like, oh my god, it's gonna be on screen. Like that is, dude. Like the closest thing I've had to that is when we were recording like an album, and you hear the first mix.
Mm-hmm.
You hear the song for the first time. You go, man, that sounds better than when I thought when I wrote it. Like I thought it would be this, but now it sounds like this. How did that happen? I'm super happy right now. And this has been one big long collaborative process of that. And I think part of the reason I'm so hepped up is because with every little thing that we do, we're that much closer. Like we're so close right now. There's like 3 or 4 shots. That's it. Then he gets to go, boonk, double check all the color correction, make sure the sound is all cleaned up, which from what I understand is very close, if not done, for what we have so far. And then he's gonna
Yeah, and I even
get away from it.
That's one of the things too. The sound editing part. A lot of the shots. Because I mean, you know it, guys. We talked about it on here a lot. There were some scenes where we had to film in locations where it wasn't ideal. And there was all kinds of background noise. Luckily, I've learned a lot in the last year on how to clean up some of this stuff and how to really get in there. I mean, not to promote my YouTube, but go check out the 42 YouTube. But anyway, there's a video where I kind of show you how some of that stuff is done and the amount of cleanup that you can do. You can almost spend like 2 or 3 days worth of work going through and cleaning up every little bitty thing. And I even told Billy, like, dude, I know that I could do a better job on some of those earlier things that you showed me, or earlier scenes, but it sounds like they're good enough because you've got music on top of that.
And ambient sound and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So there's going to be, I think that part is pretty well done. Which is, and I'm not like pretty well done, but I mean, it's pretty much done.
Up to this point is mostly complete, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that and again, I don't like 2020 very much, but the silver lining is that you had the time you needed to make that work, because when we sat down, you and I, that day, and you're like, here, all right, we're getting started. My only thought was, I know he can do this. Can he get it done in the time we need to where he's satisfied, Billy's satisfied, and it's going to look and sound right? Same with Billy. Like, is he going to be able to toss this together at the level I know he's capable of in the time frame he has set for himself?
Right.
And thankfully, the circumstances of the year have lifted a lot of that pressure. And for the stuff that you almost always with filmmaking have to grow, so like the edit and then the sound cleaning up and everything.
That's what I sound like all the time, by the
way. No. But I'm grateful for that. Yeah. But what's cool about it is that, just like what we were talking about before, the next time it rolls around, he will be that much more comfortable because it will have had the pre-production. He'll know what shots he wants to get.
Yep.
Pickup shots will be fewer.
More cameras.
So that'll allow for more shots, more time for things to happen. Because even if we only use one camera per shot, you can do setups for the next shot and just walk to the next area or whatever and get that done. So you can do pre-production and location scouting in a way like, or from the front of this thing, we can do this, but the back of this place will be great for this other shot. So yes, you need more lights for 2 cameras, but if we're going that route, and because we're saving money by not having to rent a freaking camera, we can afford Chris to have 1 or 2 more crew guys. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Man, and I think for a lot of people, they're just not gonna understand how much fun everybody had until you realize that on the next movie, it's going to be, what, probably 95% the same crew?
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, Rudy said for sure he wants to come back. Peter said for sure he wants to come back. I mean, I know Chris had a great time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's weird how it almost feels like Billy and Jay are collectors of talent.
Of people too. Yeah.
You know, not just collectors of games. Yeah, they're not just the game chasers. No, they're making this family of people who want to just create awesome, funny, entertaining content.
And it's something that on the next one, like, I don't care, like, whether it's behind the camera or in front of the camera, I'm going to be there. Yeah. And I want that experience again. Would I love to play a character in the next film that I believe that is being worked on? Yes. Do I think that would work? Not without the weight loss that I'm hoping to have. If I lose the weight that I'm gunning to wait by the time they'd be ready to do that, we could probably find a way. Like, I would just be thinner, you know, and then instead of being Roy, I would just be something closer to myself, probably. And, you know, I could take all the out of the voice and bring it down. You know, and be normal. Because Roy is kind of a snotty, whiny dude. Like, his speaking voice in that film was deliberately a little up here. It's a little up here, so that when I'm speaking like this, my natural speaking voice, it has more heft.
You're sultry. You're sultry.
Yes.
Dulcet tones.
Yeah, Roy went there once in the film. I don't think it made the final cut. Only once did that happen. But it was my favorite shot.
I just want to play a voice where, you know, I can play like this, you know, just way up here.
I mean, that's another thing, too. We could go in the total opposite direction, totally Poindexter it up, grease the hair back at, like, some big, thick Coke bottles, and then be like, hang on, something goes. I could do a character like that all day. And maybe, action.
Maybe, like, some sort of, I don't know, Goat Boy or some weird...
Goat Boy?
Not like Bill Hicks Goat Boy, because that was, yeah. That's a little over the rating. Okay?
Yeah. But I'm gonna wear you like a feed bag.
Yeah. Or
Goat Boy is hungry.
Like, you know, just come out and, you know, just make weird noises and then go off frame, and you're like, what the heck was that? I don't know. I don't know what their plan is. I just know that there are things.
I actually have an idea for the character that I should play in that movie, and I can't say it on the show. I can't. Is there a way for you to mute me on the show, but not?
I don't think.
And is Zoom a separate input in your OBS?
No.
Ugh.
See, that's what I was saying earlier. Before we started, we were having a good conversation. Then I'm like, okay, I have to start the show, which means I have to mute you, which means I can't hear you, like, at all. It's now.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna type it because I'm gonna forget.
Okay. Yeah, just
all right.
Yeah, just text it.
Because we know what the next movie's gonna be.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. The plan, anyway.
Uh-huh.
Now, I feel like we've talked an hour about game chasers.
Yeah, I want you to see that. Right, dude? Right? How good would that be?
Look, that's the thing. That's the beauty of it. There's so much room to just...
Because it's in universe, and it's a way of I'm just saying, dude. I'm just saying.
It could be a thing.
How much fun could that be? Because then you could sit there and make fun of the guy the whole time, and instead of, like, there being a confrontation between the main characters and this character, they'd be like, yeah, he's a dick. Like, I know.
Look, there's so much room in the GCU for for all kinds of characters.
Oh, he's so
you know,
good.
I don't know. Okay, I just it's pure creation. And
Yes.
how much fun is that? I mean, it's just
It is. So before we go into the cycle of you know this, because we're going to go in that same direction again. We're gonna keep talking in circles, and we're gonna have ideas that we can't say on camera.
yes.
So I do have a little tidbit of news I did not tell you.
Okay.
It's nothing huge, but you would enjoy this. I saw Scarface for the first time last week.
Okay. So
I like me some Scarface.
yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that movie.
So that was it. Was it a deliberate? I just am not interested in it. What took you? What kept you from seeing that?
Kind of the same thing as with Godfather, where like it has such a reputation that I'm worried it won't live up to what it is. And because it's been even more so than Godfather, it's been quoted, and I've seen bits and pieces of it over the years. I was really worried, but I got it on a really good deal on the Amazons a while ago. I've just been sitting on it, and I said, I'm going to watch Scarface. So I sat down and I watched it, and man, that movie is way better than its reputation. Because it influenced people, but the way they talk about it makes it feel like it's such a niche. And although it is, it's also just a really, like, suddenly I understand the entire Grand Theft Auto series way more. Like, I know exactly what they're going for.
You know, it's polar opposites, I guess, for me.
Yes.
For me, I watched it because I watched it much later too. You know, it was one of those where I caught it. Of course, I caught it in my Blockbuster days, of course. And I watch it and I go, okay, I understand the references now. I understand the reason why people gravitate toward it. I understand, like you said, like the Grand Theft Auto stuff. I understand all that. It just didn't click for me. It didn't make me go, oh my God.
No, because Godfather definitely was that for me. But I think watching Godfather as a series made it good. Watching Scarface made me want more Scarface. Because I felt like I felt like that movie, as long as it was pretty long, there was so much more they could have told. There was more story there. But I understand the point of that story is to tell that this guy wanted it all. He got it, but he screwed it up because he wanted it all. Like it was self-fulfilling prophecy, right? And there's a point where he's in the hot tub and he's alienating himself. And I'm like, you're an idiot. You've got Michelle Pfeiffer right there in a nightgown in her prime. And you've got this best friend who's really good to you and is going to run the business for you if you just let him. All you have to do is what you're doing right now. Just smoke the cigar, snort the coke, do the hot tub thing, fuck your wife. Like, it's fine. Like, this is not difficult. You're living the dream and you're not satisfied. What's wrong with you? But that's the point of the film. So the film does a great job of telling that story. Because on one hand, you want him to win, not because of what he wants is such a noble thing to desire, but because he did put in the work. And you see him unraveling in spite of himself. And you're like, whoa. Because you put yourself in that position, you go, well, first thing I do is put down the straw. I don't need that. Let's get that out of the way. Let's go to marriage counseling. Let's make this thing work because that is like you made this happen. All you gotta do is hang on to it. There's a million things you could have done differently, but the ending is still really good. And a guy like that had to go out the way he went out. And that was not spoiled for me. I didn't know if he died at the end or not.
Wow. Okay.
And I didn't know.
I'd seen the ending many times.
I'd seen the middle of the ending. Say hello to my little friend. I've seen them a million times.
Right.
And I have to say that line pays off way better knowing the build up to it. Number one. Two, knowing he had a military background. I didn't know that going into the film. And then, but also like for a minute, it feels like, oh, he's actually going to pull this off.
Yeah.
But then the guy, pow, ah, and then he falls, and it was just this hubris. It was just this perfect, like, okay, cool. Then I watched the special features, and I get to hear all of them talk about it and where it came from, the story of how it came to be. I didn't even know it was a remake. It is, and it's a really well done remake. They took this idea, like the core concept of the arc, and then changed the factors around it to fit the narrative of what was going on at the time. And the casting was pitch perfect across the board. Robert Loggia, oh my God, love that character to death. And the FBI guy, love him to death. You know, just love it. The debit. I realized I was doing that too. And in there, they have like this extended, like half hour or so documentary on the making of the game, Scarface, which I've never played. Now I want to get a copy of it and play it because it purports, well, what if, because I thought it was just an expanded version of the movie. They're like, no, we're not going to do that. So I don't know if you know this, but the game, it says, well, he lived. And now what happens?
Oh, see,
and I was like,
that.
Yeah, as soon as they said that, I always thought the game was just going to be like you're in the movie and they get to embellish the parts of the movie that they skipped over, which would still have been cool. But when they're like, well, we wanted to truly pay homage to this and give people more of what they love. So what if he lived? And I was like, okay, I'm in. Like, that's a great idea for a game. I want to play this. So I haven't looked because I'm scared. I don't know how rare it is. I know it sold really well at the time. It's probably not very rare at all. But I don't know if it's compatible on the Xbox One or not, because there's a lot of OG Xbox games you can just.
I mean, you would
pop
think
right
that
into
that
it.
one would probably be.
You would hope. But if I can get it for like $5, in a heartbeat, son. Like, yes. Yes. But yeah, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. Glad to have it in the collection. You know, if someone said you can watch Lethal Weapon or Scarface, I'm like, I'll watch Lethal Weapon. You know, that's my thing. But a couple days, about a week or two, Godfather 3's coming out again.
I know it. It's on order. I'm ready. And yes, Octavius, you are absolutely right. Don't get high on your own supply.
Do not get high on your own supply.
But yeah,
let me see.
It's like a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah, I gotta look because I know mine's on order as well. I want to see when it's supposed to ship.
Let me see.
It says arriving Tuesday, December 8th.
Uh-huh.
So
oh my gosh,
that means a couple days. Haha. I'm really excited about this.
I'm excited. And of course, there was a couple of weeks ago, Diane Keaton was like, oh yes, I really enjoyed. She said when when the movie came out, I was very disappointed. I didn't really like it, but I was really happy to see this. And I'm like, yeah, what else are you gonna say at this point? You're basically helping to market it. So yeah, of course you're gonna say that. But what she said made a lot of sense. Based on, Godfather 3 wasn't the most well received movie. Let's just say that.
Yeah, she made it a point in this interview to say that when it came out, she wasn't what she expected, and she felt the movie suffered because of that.
Yeah.
And that seeing what has been done, that the movie makes more sense both literally and tonally for her. So.
I don't know why I just gave the camera like a side eye for some reason. Like didn't I just say that? That's what I took from it. No.
Where were you? I just said that.
No, but going back to Scarface for just a second though, I think that may be one of the reasons why I look at it and I go, yeah, it's fine, is because I'm pretty sure that the DVD, because I have to imagine that it was a DVD that I'd watched. It probably didn't have special features. So I'm wondering.
No, it's worth grabbing.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I should just give it another shot, and maybe
I would, especially for the price that I paid. Let me look. Because I believe I got the 4K, either the 4K or just the Blu-ray, but it's the same edition. It's which one that so there's an edition that they have. It's called. Let me find it. The gold edition. So what I got was the regular old Blu-ray plus digital code, $13.
right.
$13. And you can't, that's a good price because you get Blu-ray, you get digital, and you get a ton of special features. Like there's about 3 hours of good special features on there, including a reunion interview at a convention, which is pretty nice.
That one?
Yeah.
$15.
Well, that's the 4K version. Yeah, the 4K was not that cheap when I ordered the one that I got.
See, I've gotten to that point, man. I'm like, look, I get that physical media is definitely down right now, as far as like in huge popularity. But I want it, and I want a PS5 so I can watch my.
Me
4K
too.
movies.
That right, and that right. So, as long as you have a version of it you can watch right away at that price. Absolutely get that.
Yeah.
Because that's a steal. And the movie is beautiful. The transfer on the one that I have is really good.
Yeah, I remember thinking.
And I watched it on a PS4 and it looks great.
Yeah, I remember thinking that there's a part I want to say I might have watched it on VHS. That was the only time
You might have. I will say that you know how I am about transfers. You know how I am about physical media. Like, we're on the same boat there.
Yeah.
And I know that there's been a bad transfer and a good one. This is a good transfer. Looks really nice. And it's about as close to a definitive edition as you're going to get. You get the nice special features. It's not bloated either. Where, like, sometimes you get, like, special features and, like, half of them you won't watch because, like, this is like a 5-minute thing about, like, the toothbrush the guy used. I don't want to watch that crap. There's about 7 little featurettes. They're quite... See, now I want to do a little feature about Roy's toothbrush, but the guy never brushes his
one
teeth.
of the hidden ones, the Easter eggs,
Right.
And it's basically like
it's actually
it's okay.
VHS. Octavia's like, VHS. Who does that? I do. I still do, actually. In fact, I think I told you offline at one point that I'm looking at getting a house sometime early next year.
No, you did not tell me that.
The credit score is steadily improving and cleaning up in a way that between that and my VA benefits, it's looking like I'm going to be able to just buy a house. So I'm just buckling down here because for the money, why not? I've done the math like 9 times, and the company that I work for just got bought out by a larger company, and they're expanding, and our budget's getting bigger. So there's more opportunity. I could go to a different part of that company, which is probably what I'm going to do, honestly. But it's the one time in my career where a company has been taken up by another company and it actually looks like a really good benefit and a good opportunity. Every other time it's been like, well, bye guys, and then the company folds.
Yes, that's exactly
like
what
I as soon as I because I end up having that issue with like 3 other companies, and I saw the writing on the wall. I'm like, nope. But they have consistently been just providing great support, and I think it's going to be a good thing. So all that pans out. Bonus comes around that time, so I'll have enough money to like make the move happen, get my stuff, get some furniture. So I say that to say this. I'm going to start building up my VHS collection again too. Because I always go like, man, I love those old cheesy horror movies you just can't get anywhere else.
Right.
And, plus with the guys going chasing regularly, especially when all this starts to lift, I've told them, like, I'm coming with you, even if I'm not on film. I have to hold because I want to go to the flea market,
Yep.
and I might as well help because I do want to get some vinyl stuff. I do want to get games. I do want to get VHS, and these guys know the spots, and I'd be dumb not to go with them.
Remind me. There's something that I want to I want to say, but I don't want to say it yet on stream.
Okay.
But it's something I want to tell you. Just flea market.
Okay.
Just hopefully
market.
we'll wrap the show and we'll be like, bye guys, and then I'll be like, okay, dude. You know what I mean? I can,
Yeah, I'll remind you because now I'm intrigued.
yeah.
So like, I just, especially with the fact that I've kind of resigned myself to the fact that I've kind of held off on the buying a house thing throughout my life because I've been waiting to like settle, you know, whether that means like cohabiting with a partner or whatever. And I have come to the determination that no, I'm just going to get a house. I'm going to make it what I want it to be. And if someone wants to come into that space, they are welcome to. If not, I will build an addition in the back and they can have their own room. And that's just how it's going to be, you know. My lifestyle is what it is. I'm happy. And part of that means having a ginormous man cave that is, in fact, a house. So there's going to be, I've looked up soundproofing and stuff. I'm going to have drums set up in the garage. I'm going to, you know, section off like a room within a room and play music again. And I'm going to have a dedicated office and studio for like YouTube and Twitch and everything else and work because they are going to allow us to work remotely for the foreseeable future. Although I'm happy to go into the office when I have to, I'd just much rather work from home.
Yeah.
You know, and in the price range that I have, there are some really nice houses that are for sale that will really fit the bill. You know, nice yard, everything else. You know, living the dream, as they say. So I'm stoked. Living minimally has worked for a long time. I'm about 6 weeks away from having lived in this spot for a year, which is crazy. Feels like I just got here.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
About six weeks from now, it'll be a year.
Jeez.
Yeah, the year kind of flew by, even though it felt like it dragged the whole time. Right?
Well,
like,
yeah, it's like I cannot believe that I put my 2-week notice in at my job Labor Day of last year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I haven't worked like a regular job in what, 15 months? And I'm
Weird
like,
feeling, dude. I've been there.
like I can't even tell you how weird that is to say. It's like, wow.
I know how weird that is to say. It happened to me once, technically. So I was working for GoDaddy, and they made some changes, and there was a split there because there was this whole subsection of middle managers. They basically just let all of us go, and I was like in the first batch. They gave us a okay severance package, and at the time, unemployment in the state of Iowa was fairly generous and flexible. So I said, I'm not going to take a job that isn't going to work. So that was when I got back into collecting. That's when I got into YouTube. That's when I got into all that stuff and started just kind of dabbling and having fun with it. And I woke up one morning and I was like, oh shit, it's been like a year and a half, you know, and I had done all these really cool things and grown, I think, as a person and kind of became more at peace with myself than I had been in a long time. So I was grateful for that in hindsight. You know, if I had taken a second and stopped moving, I would have been, I would have freaked out, but it was necessary.
I'll tell you this. When I got laid off at, I guess they don't even exist anymore. I can say it. When I got laid off at Mosaic doing marketing stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got laid off, and I was out for 17 months.
Yeah.
And I had a pretty nice. The unemployment was nice, but I was actually looking for jobs, interviewing, and doing all these things, and I'm like, what is going on? I can't get hired anywhere. What is going on? And it was I found out that what I was doing is I was looking at Mosaic in different sections of the company, and I was like, I don't want to do the exact same thing, right? Well, it turns out I pissed off one of the managers there. And every time they were like, so you were his manager, what do you think? No, I wouldn't do it. He's flaky. He's weird. And I'm like the least flaky dude. I showed up every day. I was like the guy. I got things done. What's going on? And I just said, okay, well then I need to quit thinking about that. And then right around that time is when, like everything happened at once. I lost the unemployment ran out. And then I was just like, oh my God. And then I just happened to get the job at the last company that I worked with that I put my 2-week notice in. They called me up and they're like, hey, this is weird. But we have a position open. Do you want it? And I was like, yes. So I took it, got sick, and then was that, all that stuff. But it's just weird thinking I've been out of work for 15 months by choice. Which is so weird to say.
Yeah. But you've accomplished so much in that time.
And strangely enough, with the pandemic, my wife and I both have spent less money because we haven't had to be out. And it's like, how is that almost equal what we were when I was working? It's almost cost that much. It's so weird. I'm in a very enviable position, and I know that, and I'm lucky, and I'm thankful, all that being said, I want to get back out there because oh my God, I'm tired of being in this house. I'm seriously, I've sheltered more than anybody else I know. I don't know of anyone else that's sheltered as much as I have. Even my wife has gone to the grocery store and she's gone and done this and done that. I've been to seriously like 5 places.
Right.
So it's
yeah.
Like,
I can. I initially went to the grocery store a couple times, like just in the beginning, and then the rest of it was pretty much nah. And I went to one bar twice and a highly regulated get together twice. So and I'm thinking about a couple of other things, but there's still, I can still count on these and have some fingers left over.
Yeah.
The amount of times that I've gone anywhere. And even then I'm super put the mask on and all that stuff. And, but then you see people just out there with no mask. You're like, what are you doing? Like the vaccine's not here yet, you jerk.
Well, it's just weird too.
But
Because
that's a whole thing.
I remember one of the places where I felt the most nervous was going into Best Buy. Because it was the only time I was like,
I can see that.
I want my Star Wars thing. I want my Star Wars thing. And so I went in to buy it, and I was just like, it was almost like I don't know if anybody else feels this, but since I'm all immunosuppressed and all that kind of stuff, I'm super freaked out anyway about being outside. But what was weird was I walked in and it was suddenly anxiety. Like, oh my God, where is this thing? I gotta go find it. But there was almost no one in the store. I had nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
But it was like, I'd never felt that kind of, well, maybe the only other time is when, which I think I've told you this story when I had the panic attack in IKEA. But yeah, it was just a weird thing. The whole thing was weird.
Yeah. Well, this is going back like 4 years ago. It was commonplace when if I would go into a grocery store during the day and it was busy, like I have to get out of this place, because I had gotten to a point with my work schedule prior to that, because I was working second shift for a long time. But I could, because of the way that the time I got off work, I could go to the grocery store and there'd be nobody there. And I could just take my time.
Yes.
And the help, I got to know the help really well. And they were, but then my schedule changed and the grocery store's on the way home. And this is before delivery services were really prevalent for groceries. So I didn't have that option and I'd have to go. It would almost always be like at like 5:30 when like everyone and their freaking mom is going to grocery. And I'm like, to a certain degree, I still get that. Then you add this whole thing of being here to buy that can of green beans might kill you is, it's there. It's there, for sure. And,
Beans.
I have gotten dude, I had an Instacart order. Every payday I get a big Instacart order to stock up, whether it's beer, all the food, any toilet, whatever. And it comes to my door, typically like right at the end of my workday, and I put everything away. And then I usually will have a few beers, and that's just the ritual. And I did that. And then today I was like, oh. And I was like a bunch of things. I'm like, either that I had already eaten from the grocery thing I wanted to replenish, or some things I wanted to bulk up. I ordered another one today. So I had another little order come in today. I get everything delivered, man. Everything. And when I went to pay my for those of you at home listening don't know, I live in an extended stay suite. And believe it or not, for the money, it's just as cost effective as a small apartment. And because I'm comfortable here, I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have any reason to leave right now because all my stuff is in storage. Like there's no point to me paying out that kind of money to go to an apartment and have to have a lease. I'd rather be flexible and comfortable because when the time does come to have a house, I can budget and plan it and waste no money whatsoever.
Right.
That's the idea. But because I've been here so long, like the manager has changed. Like I told you this like 7 times in the last year. And I went to pay yesterday, and the lady who's apparently managing now, real sweet, like little Latina lady, and she's like, I never have to come in and do the collection. You always pay. You pay early. You're always so nice, and and that's why like the staff, they just all know me, and they'll call me and they'll say, hey, you got a package, which is rare now because now Amazon knows just to bring to my door, like they know I'm home. But when the rare instance I get a package that is not brought to me, they'll call me up like, hey, Jim, you got a package. You want me to meet you at the back door? The back door is next door to my room. I could walk out, take 3 steps, grab a box, and go back into my room. 2 more steps, I'm at the laundry room. Like, it's fine. I don't have to worry. Even when it comes to sheets, the only time I have to go into that office is to pay. Anything else, we'll meet you at the back door. It's like this weird little transactional thing, and I fucking love it. It's great.
It's awesome.
It is. I'm a little spoiled, to be honest with you, because being in a place of business like this where they're staffed all the time, I don't have to worry about like my package getting swiped. I don't have to worry about a lot of things. Like if I realize I'm out of towels, I just throw on a pair of sweatpants and go, hey man, can I get a towel? I don't have to worry about, I didn't do my laundry until I've got a dirty towel. Don't worry about that. It's really nice. It's the dumbest little things. So when someone says to me like, man, why don't you move out of that place? Like, you're in a hotel. I'm like, yeah, I'm in a hotel. like if I'm hungry, I can get up before 10 a.m. and go get a granola bar for free. Because they have like a big basket of granola bars and stuff. And if I'm in the mood for something like that, I like granola bars a lot. Haven't bought one in a year because I can just go get them. And because I don't do it all the time, they're like, just take a handful, Jim. Because I'm giving them good business because they are always having people in a hotel, but their business has gone down a lot. So for someone like me who is a sure thing, they're just like whatever he wants because he doesn't cause any trouble. He pays on time. He's eccentric, but we like him. You know, because at one point it was getting pretty ridiculous, especially when I was buying like a ton more movies than I am now. The only reason I haven't bought more is because the shelf that I bought to contain them is full and overflowing. Like it's just stacked clear to the top just from stuff I've bought this year. And but they were always like, man, what do you always get? I'm like, movies, t-shirts, hats, usually. That's pretty much it. You know, I see this teetering pile of hats over here. You know, I went to get one, they all toppled. I'm like, shit. You know? Like, where are my hats? No. Like I had to pick out a hat to wear tonight because I was wearing a bungee hat. And I was like, oh, this is a Destiny shirt. I can't do that. That's the rule. You don't wear the same thing in two places. Like, it's just a rule in my head. So, like, if I'm wearing a Metallica shirt, I don't wear a Metallica hat at the same time. That's too much. You're being too much of a billboard.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever...
Like, I wouldn't wear this hat with a Putrid Pile shirt.
Right.
You know, you wouldn't do that.
I'm just trying to think. I don't think I've ever done that. But it wasn't a conscious... Uh-oh. Oh, you locked up for a second. That was weird.
Well, like, there's this kind of a thing with... Right. Well, like, it kind of goes along with... Okay.
Oh, wait.
Okay, is that better?
It's fine, but now you're delayed by like...
You still hear me, right?
Yeah, hold on.
Here, I'll kick off my... Hang on. Give me a second.
That was strange. All right, let's do that for a second. And then... Let's see, hold on. Jim, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you fine. Can you? Am I better now? Am I good?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, good. Yeah, I just had to reset it. So,
Okay.
Where that comes from is like this unspoken but also very spoken rule for like going to a rock show. You ever hear that like you don't wear the shirt of the band you're going to see?
Oh yes. I've heard
it's the exact same thing, just modified. So you don't want to over
promote.
Right, because plus, like you figure, because I do have so many hats and I do have so many shirts, I don't have an excuse. Like I have another one. Like I can put something else on.
Now, what's weird is I have a ton of Star Wars shirts, of course, but I have my hoodie, my zip up hoodie, and it's also Star Wars, but it's actually this design. There was one day I wore this shirt with the same design on the back of the hoodie.
I think that's a little bit different. I think if you're wearing the hoodie over top because you can't see the other thing, like who cares? Yeah. Also, how cool would it be to wear that shirt with the hoodie, but it is not zipped up? Yeah. So it's kind of like, I think that's cool. I think some stuff you can get away with it. But when it comes to the band stuff, which I have so much of, it's kind of like,
I get it though. That makes sense.
Because for a while, the jam was video game metal or video game metal for a long time. At least on the Game Chaser set, that was more or less the pattern I followed for the most part. Mainly because I had just gotten a Destiny hat that was really comfortable and didn't mess with my hair too much. So I was always wearing that hat when I wasn't on set. It would just be a different metal shirt when I wasn't in costume.
I don't think I own any video game related stuff. Mine is always Star Wars stuff or some band stuff. I have, a few band shirts. That's it though. I don't think I have
I didn't really either, but then I'd gotten like a Loot Crate subscription or Loot Gaming, and they would send like shirts every month. Oh. Okay. So I started to build some of those up, and then like we went to for example, we went to the toy fair. I got a bunch of shirts that day because I could. So I got like some Retropalooza stuff, and I got some Pixel Dan.
You won that prize. That was crazy.
Yeah. And I was just telling Jay or Billy, I don't remember who I was talking to, but I was like, man, I really wish we'd have filmed that day because there was some good stuff that went down that day.
Oh yeah.
Like,
It was fun.
like just the deal at that back table would have been great. Because we walk in, we look around, we get to that table, and I'm like thumbing through, and he goes, "Whole box, $20." I'm like, pfft. I just threw $20 at him. I'm like, I don't care here. I'll take it. That box, the exact same box, is still right there. Still right there.
I don't think I bought anything that day. That was a
No,
weird day, though.
we looked for you.
I remember I had to leave and then I had to come back.
Yeah.
That was a weird
Yeah.
day. I don't remember exactly.
You had to help out. I think it was your wife's folks with something.
I think so.
I think it was their Apple TV was messing up or something.
I don't know. I can't remember. It was something computery. It's always something computery.
It was something with an Apple TV. I remember this because I was trying to help you troubleshoot.
Oh.
I remember
Yeah.
this. And because the whole day you're like, well, I just have to go do this thing. Because we were conspiring to go to Billy's house to watch the first cut of the film.
Yeah.
So for those of you at home, like fill in the blanks, because I almost forgot there are people watching. Because we're just having a conversation.
That's good. That's what it should be.
Yeah.
Let's hang out.
But so the toy fair was kind of like Jay's answer to his own Retropalooza. So it was more toy focused, and he started it in the same place he started Retropalooza, relatively small place. Had a lot of toy vendors come in, some he's worked with in the past, some new ones as well. And we wanted to go to show support. And plus, I mean, we're into toys, man. Like it was a win-win. You could see all the boys and have a good time. I bought my tickets online, and I bought 2 just in case a friend showed up. And I wasn't sure if they were going to make it. But I had the money. I bought the tickets. Who cares? So when you bought the tickets online, you were entered into a drawing for a $100 gift certificate. Well, I bought 2 tickets, and they only had like X amount of those tickets sold in advance. People were mainly buying at the door, which makes sense. Well, because they'd only sold like 30 tickets, I had 2 entries out of the 30. That's some pretty good freaking odds. And I'm barely 2 foot in the door, and Jay's like, "Oh, by the way, you won the gift certificate." I'm like, okay. So I want $100 to spend at this event. And so, like, we had a field day. We went to every booth. We looked at everything, and I'm like, I want this, I want this, I want that. I came in with some really cool pint glasses from Jay's brother, Timmy, and got, again, I still have, I bought this this limited edition Wonder Woman figure statue for somebody, which I still haven't sent it to them. I probably should. Like a year later, I haven't sent it to them. The idea was they were supposed to come visit and say hi, and then they never did, and it's a thing. But the statue's for them, and I also got a Captain America statue for someone I was seeing at the time who's really into Captain America. And I gave it to her, and she's like, "Oh my God!" Like, she freaked out. She was like really happy. And I got a message like a few weeks back, like, "Hey, I was dusting off that statue, and I thought of you." I'm like, "That's sweet." But it was just it was something that, Dan gave me a really good deal on those statues, like a really good deal. So I couldn't pass them up. And I got this big box of games, sealed, mostly sealed. It was like I think it was either Game Boy Advance or DS or both, PS2, original Xbox, and some other stuff. And the value of that box, market value at the time, was like $120, $150. And he gave it to me for $20. I could sell just the copies of Tenchu that I have in there and make $50. So it was worth it. And then I got some NES games that had been eluding me. And do you remember? I don't know if you were standing next to me at the time or not, but there was the one booth where I got the NES games. And the one guy goes, he'd been an extra on the set. He goes, "Watch out. That's one of the Game Chasers." Oh. That's what he said. And I was like, "What?" Because I was surprised, because first of all, no one had ever called me that before. But it was just the implication of, this guy's a shark. We know who he deals with. And I did deal them down quite a bit on those games. I did.
Yeah,
I really loved.
No, I don't know if I was there for that specifically, but it was weird to be. It's so weird. it's just weird to see people. I mean, like Pixel Dan was there, right?
Yeah.
Um,
We hung with him for a bit.
yeah, and
Melvor
it's
was
just
there.
like, I've just watched these guys. You know, I don't
Yeah.
know them, and they're just treating me like I'm one of the guys, and it's weird. It's just strange.
Yeah. It was really weird, and especially for me too, and in the sense of like, it was still fresh, and the trailer had not even come out. So unless you happened to be on Twitter and see a picture of me, there was no, like, that kid saying that seemed premature at the time. And what's this?
I wanted to tell you about this, but
Well, you can tell me now.
oh, sorry. So this is something that I mentioned on the show the other day. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I didn't do that.
No,
to cut
you're
you
good.
off.
No, you're good.
Okay, so what this is the Alamo Draft House started in Austin, kind of a thing. Of course, because movie theaters are going through some tough times, they are doing the sale of their Mondo prints, and some of them are first editions, all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to let the people know about it because it's pretty awesome. If you're interested, you can support that. What are you saying?
The Drew Struzan Universal Monsters poster.
Oh yeah, dude, search Godzilla.
Oh fuck! Don't do that to me.
I saw them and I'm like, oh my god, I got to send this to Jim. And then when you said you were going to come on the show, I was like, oh, I'll just show them on the show. But some of them are not cheap, but some of them are cheap. Now, there's no guarantee that they're going to stay cheap, but we've got a week left. So if anybody's interested, I would say go check it out. There's some amazing artwork. Mondo makes some amazing looking posters. And some of them are, some of them are quite expensive. But we went through some of them on the last show. But I wanted
some of these are actually pretty reasonable.
Right, but we've got a week left. They've been out there for a week, and you know what's going to happen. Just like eBay, the last 5 minutes, it's going to be like.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you, I've got something like 12 saved to watch because they're.
Gee, for crying out loud, even the Godzilla versus Megalon poster, the most maligned Godzilla film, generally speaking, aside from maybe Godzilla Raids Again. Because Godzilla versus Megalon is cheese. You've got an Ultraman clone with Jet Jaguar. Like, no one likes that movie except for, like, me and maybe Billy. And that poster is $42. Is it your favorite?
Yeah.
It's a fun one to watch. It's got the tail slide in it.
Yep.
And Godzilla speaks with only his fingers.
Isn't he like this, right? Yeah. Oh, dude.
Yeah. It's so good. So good. But I love how he goes, "Meow," and that means hold him. I'm going to slide into him on my tail. Like, that he understands. And then, like, Jet Jaguar's doing all this weird, like, I'm a traffic cop shit. And then he grows, like, wait, whoa. How is a solid robot growing in size? Like, you haven't explained this technology at all.
Dude,
it just happens, and
go ahead.
They're wild. But the thing is, like, what really kind of, like, that was a movie that was mainly for kids by that point. But, like, Godzilla bleeds a lot in that movie. Like, there's a lot of blood in that movie. So, I'm surprised that a poster of that film is that high, given there's other more popular Godzilla films with the posters are like $20.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
Yeah. But I just wanted to, not only bring that up because I remembered, part of the reason was because I wanted to tell you, but also the other reason is that what I did was I sat there and talked about it for like 10 minutes and showed off things and never posted the link.
Right.
So it was like, idiot, what are you doing? So just in case you're interested, there you go.
I mean, I am. I mean, I can't speak to to the viewers, but I'm definitely into this.
Yeah, I mean, there's some gorgeous.
That's the other thing too. I've got posters over there. So I pre-ordered some movies from Shout, which I'm not allowed to go to Shout Factory for a while, because I've been snapping up a lot of their stuff. I got 13 Ghosts and Ghost Ship on pre-order, and Ghost Ship I saw in the theater. It's not a great movie, but it's a fun movie. It's just a fun movie. It's worth owning it just for the first 15 minutes.
See, I
just
don't
the
remember
opening
it.
sequence.
I remember watching it, and I think it was one of the. I think it came out when I was at Blockbuster, and I think it was.
Yeah.
I watched it, and then I was like, "Yeah, that was bad."
Yeah, it wasn't really well done. The movie telegraphs itself way too much, but everyone's chewing the scenery, and it's just it's so bad it's good. And there's a few scenes where you're like, oh, I forgot about that. That's pretty cool. Like, it's one of those I'll watch it once every 2 years, but the opening, if someone hasn't seen it, like, just watch the opening, because the opening's pretty BA. Like, it's cool. For a horror movie, like, it was that that film, and 13 Ghosts as well. Although 13 Ghosts is actually a really good movie. Those two movies have that early 2000s make a quick buck horror movie vibe. Like, there's just a certain 2000s vibe, and those two, you've got 13 Ghosts that has that energy. It's made on a shoestring budget, but they did a hell of a job with what they had, because they had one set basically, you know. And then Ghost Ship, they spent way too much money for something they could have made on a shoestring budget, and it's horrible, but it's funny. So I figure those two movies were good gets to have, but they come with these posters, because the reimagining of the artwork is really nice.
Oh yeah.
And it comes with a daggum poster. So I have like 2 rolled posters just sitting there. And so I'm like in my head, because this friend, say in my head, this friend of mine, she's really good at decorating. And like when I've been to her and her husband's house, it's just like, wow, like this is a bunch of disparate things that are brought together in a way that makes a lot of sense. Like, the first thing you see when you walk into this house is like a freaking 6-foot decal / poster cut out of one of the Seattle Seahawks. But then there's like all this other stuff that has nothing to do with anything else, but it all works together, and they have a very nice ornate house. Right. But it flows. It just works. And then they have like each room has kind of like a theme going for it. And I jokingly said to her, I was like, when I buy this house, I challenge you to do that with my house. Because I've got like this 6-foot tall Napalm Death poster that has no business being anywhere. It's gigantic. And I've got a bunch of little tiny Napalm Death posters. I got vinyl I want to hang up, and I've got like video game poster over here, Spider-Man hang up stuff over here, and these weird obscure 2000s horror movies. Like, none of this makes sense. It's a decorator's nightmare, because like there's all these posters. I don't have any of the traditional stuff, and I've got all these toys that fly everywhere. She said, no, I'm down. She says, I'll make that work. I'm like, I don't think you can. She's like, I will do it. I'm not gonna ask you to throw anything out. You might have to get more stuff. I'm like, what? She says, I'll make that work. I was like, okay. Because if it does happen, I'm going to make it a video series, because I want to catch on film how frustrated she gets. I can't wait. The sadist in me, I'm just like, oh, I just want to piss her off. She's like, where? Because I want there to be that moment, like, why do you have all this stuff? I'm like, well, there's lots of wall space. Find a place for it. You know, I just, because the way that I like to live is so antithetical to like decorating, because I like to live very practically for the most part. So like physical media, it goes on a shelf. You have to see it. It needs to be, you can grab it off the shelf. Anyone who's ever given a crap about decorating in a house that I was living in always hated that about me.
Dude, I have to pause you for a second. I have got to
Yeah.
pee so bad. I'm literally like going, I think I might pee my pants on stream. I can't do that. So, guys,
Don't do
we'll be
that.
right
Go.
back, okay? We'll be right back.
Don't.
Hey, sorry.
Hey,
Sorry about that.
that's fine, dude.
Seriously, I was sitting here going, I just realized I should have peed like 2 topics ago. And now I've got to go. Or, yeah, that wouldn't have been good Twitch viewing.
No, not
But
so much. No.
Sorry. So you were talking about
Yes.
the posters and your designs and
Yes.
or
yes.
how you like to collect, I guess.
Right, and it's the collections get bigger, and I thought I had it kind of sussed when I was living in Iowa because I had shelving that all matched, so at least there was that. Well, they don't sell that shelving anymore, and some of it got broken in the move down to Houston. So I'm going to have to find a shelving solution that will fit my rather unique needs. And on one hand, I kind of want to do what Dave did, because you saw what Dave did with his modular shelving, right?
Yes.
'Cause I looked into it, and it's a little pricey.
Yeah.
But once you get the bulk of it done, as you expand, it's not going to be that expensive moving
Right.
forward. So it's a question of, do I get stuff I know I can get more of? So like my brain said, get shelving that you know is relatively generic that you can get more of, and then get like 2 or 3 more than you need and keep 3 of them in the garage.
Right.
And then build them when you need them, or go with something that's more modular. And it all depends upon the space I'm in. You know, most of the places I'm looking at have pretty big living rooms that there's a way to section it off to where you can have almost a library type area where everything's just there. And so like in the office area, that's where I'd want to keep most of the games, I think, you know, and like books. But like music and movies probably need to go in the living room. But the movies, they're kind of getting out of control because I have like a lot.
Dude,
I have a lot.
it's part of
And
the
I
reason. It's part of the reason why I made everything digital. I mean, I've got my
Digital.
big freaking Seagate hard drives here. I have a 4 terabyte and an 8 terabyte. And
I've got 12 terabytes in my computer alone.
dude, it got where there was a perfect we had I don't think I don't think you saw this part of the house, but there's an area next to our dining room table where there's built-in shelves. Really nice. And I
Mhm.
don't know if it was meant to be like media storage, but it was perfect. It was perfect for all of our Blu-rays and DVDs or whatever. And it got to the point where there was nice alphabetical order and then just stacks on top of each stack, and then there was stuff stacked
Yep.
in front of it, and it was just like, this
Yeah.
is ridiculous how much stuff we have. So that's what I did those however many months I was off, is I converted everything, and it took forever, but I had a really
Oh
nice
yeah.
system, of doing it. And what it would do is it would text me when it was done rendering, so I could come up here and start the next one, or the next set, because I would batch them,
Sure.
all the conversions. It was crazy. It was, and I was doing it with zero money, So I think I had like I don't know, some small ass hard drive in my computer at the time. But anyway, point is, it takes up so much space. Now it's all boxed up and in my closet, and you can't walk in my closet because it's just Blu-rays, DVDs. To the
Yeah,
ceiling.
I did that with my CDs and my movies to a certain point. And I promised myself I would never do that again. For the simple fact that at one point I realized that I like this two albums from this one band I really like. In fact, I've played them for you, Crawl. I didn't like the bit rate wasn't right or something one day, and I'm like, man, I couldn't. And the CDs were boxed up in a closet, and I didn't want to like thumb through them, so I just bought 2 more copies of them. I just went on Amazon and bought 2 more copies, waited for them to come, and I digitized them at the right bit rate because they weren't that popular. Like they were on a good distribution where you could find them. They're not hard to come by, but just people just don't know about them. But I promised myself I would never do that again. So when I moved again, and I was in a place where I had an office and I got the shelving and everything, having the CDs just there was nice. And then having the movies all in one place was really nice. But between having grown that collection, like I'm scared. I've been looking at shelves, and I'm worried I'm not gonna have enough. And I'm looking at these like holds of 1,000 Blu-rays, and I'm like, I don't know if that's enough. I legitimately don't know if that's enough.
I don't even know either. I mean, like, I don't know what it would take.
And games, fucking forget it.
Yeah.
Because
see,
I've been putting them in cases for 8 years, like those Universal game cases.
yeah.
I am considering abandoning that and going to just loose carts. Because I love the cases, man. I really do. They're beautiful, and it makes it a really, like, you can make a more informed choice and everything, but I don't know if that's practical anymore. I don't know, dude.
It's
Because there's a lot of them.
it's such a
They
thing.
take up
I
some
mean, it's
space.
like it's like, for me, it's like I got to the point where I don't know about you. Like when you buy movies and stuff, does it have to be like so far up your like okay, these are some of my favorite movies, or do you go, you know what, I just kind of want to see that one, so I'll just buy it, because it doesn't make sense to rent it and then buy it later if I really like it.
It comes down to, is it the right price at the right time? It's all it ever is.
Yeah.
If it's something I really, really want, I'll go out of my way. But if I'm at the $5 bin and there's something I'm even remotely interested in for $5, I will buy it. It's the same thing with video games. Like, I don't even know if I'm gonna like this game or how. If it's a good deal, like, I've bought bad games at good prices because I knew that in a pinch it's trade bait. Like, I will never play this piece of shit. But like, the best example is Nightmare on Elm Street on the NES. Horrible game. Had 2 copies of it at one point because I got it relatively inexpensive. I got them for each copy for less than $20, or I got the one I got in a lot for $20. The whole lot was $20, and it came with games I needed. And I got another copy because I was trying to get that game, and I wasn't sure if I was going to get the lot, so I had bid on an individual copy. So for $40, I got 6 games and 2 copies of Nightmare on Elm Street, which at the time was going for around $30. So it was still cheaper. It's up there now. It's a $50 game now. And I think I told the story before where I gave a copy of that to a friend of mine for helping me pack up my consoles before I moved. But I have it, and plus I'm a Freddy guy. Like, I love that. And I have Friday the 13th as well. And they're on the shelf. Because I just love having them.
Right.
You know, I have a story to tell. Like, I relate to these because I was a fan of these growing up, and this is all we had. You know, and this wasn't much. And then you go to like a Friday the 13th game now, which is a great game. Man, if we'd had something like that growing up, kids are spoiled. You don't know what they have.
Oh, I know.
And I almost, for the Black Friday, I almost got that new Predator game. It's made by the same people that made the Friday the 13th. And it's the same style where it's
right,
non-linear and all that. And like all these reviews are like, it's online only. I'm like, well, that's what they do. Yeah. That's what this developer does. You know, and I didn't get it. I'm kind of mad that I didn't get it. But I think part of the reason I justified not getting it, even at the good price it was, because the internet here is so crap. Because you want to see me rage is when I lose a PvP match to the connection.
Right.
Oof. You know.
Well, and I think the only thing that I got on Black Friday, and that's one of the things, you know, Black Friday is usually just a madhouse in this house. It's ridiculous.
Well, I bet.
Because I like to shop for my geek stuff, and April likes to shop for her crafty stuff. Right. So it's usually, you know, FedEx and UPS trucks just passing this on the street. Just, I mean, you know.
Strangers in the night.
It's crazy, you know. But this year, I was like, okay, I don't really need anything. You never really need anything, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
It was like, I don't need to spend the money on stuff. I bought 2 things for Black Friday.
Right.
I bought batteries, and I bought that the Tantive 4, the Lego Tantive 4, because it was 20% off. Lego is never on sale, like almost never.
Right.
So
because they know they can get their money out of you.
Yeah. So for me, that was like, yay! But then I look at, especially going through your email is like the worst thing to do, because I get all of these emails from, oh, look at this thing that you kind of wanted, but you never did, you never got.
Right.
And now it's like, so
it's 15 cents.
I almost spent a ridiculous amount of money, but I said no.
Yeah, I filled up a few shopping carts and then, you know, left the site. I did that a bunch of times that day. Like GameStop almost had me buying pop figures. And the reason, and the thing is, I blame my friends. I don't think I showed you. Hang on, I'm gonna get this. Unless you saw it on stream, you wouldn't have seen this.
I guess not. And now he can't hear me. Whoa, TOS. Oh.
So, longtime viewers of my stream, they're always sending me stuff. I mean, always. That Godzilla I always talk about that I have. They sent me that. They found it at a GameStop for cheap, and they're like, do you want Mecha Godzilla or Godzilla? I'm like, Godzilla, send me one.
just say,
not
yes.
knowing how big it was. Yes. But he's like this big. And he's still in the package. And he's on top of my fridge. And he's going to be a centerpiece somewhere. But that package is just so nice. And like one Christmas, they sent me like a box of like candy and hot chocolate mixes because I said I was too lazy to go get it myself. They just went to the store and bought someone and sent it to me. Well, I don't know what convinced them to do this. They thought, we thought you would like this. We know you're not a huge pop guy, but we saw this one and we thought of you. You got me Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead in a pop. And, you know, he died a couple years ago, and I have become a bigger Motorhead fan since then. But I was always a Lemmy fan. Like Lemmy the guy. Like, if you haven't seen the documentary about his life, watch it. That guy was rock and roll in organic form. I don't care what other rock star you bring up, Lemmy will just dismiss them summarily. Like, he is just such a good guy.
It's so weird too.
But
oh, go ahead.
But anyway, so they got me this pop, so it was fresh on my mind. I'm like, well, shit, I've got a couple. Because I have, like, Spider-Man Homecoming Spider-Man, and I have a Godzilla from the more recent film. And I promised myself those are the only pops I would... Because it's a slippery slope, those freaking things.
Yes, they are.
And I get this, and I'm like, damn it. And then GameStop sent me an email.
Oh, by the way, pops are on sale.
And I'm like... Yeah. And they were at a good price too. And I was looking, and I saw a bunch of them, and I almost bought them. I was this close. I had a couple in the cart, some good ones too. But I was like, no, I don't even want to put them now. I don't know where I would put them in the house. I don't have a vision for this stuff. Because for a long time, my bookshelf. Because it was an oddly shaped bookshelf. It was kind of like part books, part knickknacks. But I have come to the decision that, showcase figures and all that stuff, I'm going to need a separate little area for that. I more stuff, and I need a place to put them. And I don't want to have to knock over something to get a book. I want to have a bookshelf and so Lemmy, Iggy, and Keith. Keith? Who's Keith in rock and roll? Like Lemmy and Iggy, Lemmy Kilmister and Iggy Pop, but who's Keith?
I don't know.
Talking about Kiefer Sutherland? Oh, Keith. Oh, Keith. Keith Richards' son. Keith Richards. Okay. Keith Richards. Okay. I get it. Yeah.
That's
Who's
Bucho
at
for
1, 2, 3 times he was on stage that night.
Yeah.
Oh, 1, 2, 3 times. And I tell you, I don't think his feet touched the ground once. It's reminds me of Wayne's World 2. Sleeping August will take 10 years, add 10 years of your life, man. I learned from Keith Richards with Torn with the Stones. Ozzy wasn't going to go on stage that night unless he had 1,000 brown M&Ms. We found this little sweet shop on the edge of town. And we got the M&Ms well enough, but then we find out the store is guarded by this bloody Bengal tiger. It's nasty business. The shopkeeper and his son were a different story altogether. I had to beat them to death with their own shoes. I love that character.
Dude,
so
I
much.
don't even remember that. I mean, I remember it. I remember hearing that. But that was funny.
It's the same actor that played the guy with the low IQ in Alien 3.
Yeah.
Same guy. But honestly, I thought Wayne's World 2 had a better story than the first one. I think it's a better movie. It had some cool gags in it. But on one hand, the plot was better, but it's strung together with more gags than the first one had. So it was very much a Lorne Michaels film, you could tell. I love that movie. And had a really bad Jim Morrison impersonator in it, and
Every stream is better with goofy accents.
Yeah. Keith Richards would say that, yeah. Yeah.
I have one.
Yeah, I can't
pop.
pull that off. Save my life.
One pop figure,
Yeah.
and it was given to me.
Which one is it?
It's a Kylo Ren.
I thought so. I was going to say it was a Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
I think I remember going that's the one you have. I think I said that to you when I was sitting at your desk
and
there.
it's weird. It's for me, and Jay is crazy about him. He's got a ton of them.
Now I got to say, if someone made the whole Game Chasers crew and pop figures, I would have to get
Oh
those.
yeah, of course. But I guess
Yeah.
my thing is, it's like, okay, it's that same design, it's the same look,
Right.
with the
Right.
with the Kylo Ren skin on it, and I'm just like,
Right. Exactly.
like that's why I was
You know,
like,
versus something like this where it's a little bit better.
Oh, yeah,
There's
yeah.
a little bit more detail
right.
to it, and
But like, my
Like,
Black
I like
Series
that.
figures, that I just recently got the Mandalorian. And
yeah.
I love those. They're cool.
On the same token though, like with all the like the Todd McFarlane like movie figures and stuff, like all the horror stuff, I almost dove into those, but every time I had one in my hand at a Spencer's, I was like, if I get one, I'm gonna have to get all of them. And I don't know where I'm gonna put them because I know myself. Like once I have one, I want all of them.
And that's part of the reason why I have not been that much of a collector. Is because yeah, and you're never gonna finish. You're never gonna go,
no,
complete set. No, never.
it's true.
And so I just
No.
get like
Like-
things that I like, the specific things that I like. I'm not gonna get the whole Black Series collection because
Right.
oh my god,
No.
there's so many.
Well, like one of the things I've been doing during 2020 is because my PC is like the front is facing that way, so like the side, I see it all day. So I've been just slapping stickers on it. I've told you that before. And there's this hole in the center, like it's slowly dwindling, but I've got space. Last night I had a few too many, and I get an email from Bandcamp that one of my buddies' bands has new merch out, and they have a hat. And it's by a band called Malignancy, and I love Malignancy, man. And they always treated us really, really well on the road. Like anytime we played New York, they booked the show, and we were always treated really nice. And they always had like all the New York bands come out to see us, bands that I grew up listening to, and they're fans of my band now. And I'm like, oh! So I always thank Danny for that. So anytime Danny has new merch out, I buy it. If it says Malignancy on it and it's in my size, I'm buying the fucking thing. And they have a hat. I'm like, ooh. So drunk me goes, buy, I didn't even look at my bank account, nothing. Give me the thing. Immediately send him the first Facebook message I've sent him in over 10 years. And I said, Danny, do you have any Malignancy stickers for that hat that I just ordered? I want a sticker, man. That's what I said to him. And this morning he messaged back, oh, hey, Jim, how are you? I don't think we have any stickers left. I have other stickers I can send you, though. I'll send everything I got. And I was like, thanks, man. Appreciate that. And then the email that the hat shipped came like an hour after that. So like noon or something like that. And in the note, it says, oh, hey, Jimmy, I found one like stuck in one of the drawers. So I'm going to send you a Malignancy sticker. So hopefully he's going to help me plaster this thing up with all these New York death metal stickers. Like, but I love stickers, man. I just love putting them on things because if it's something that's like plain Jane, with the exception of furniture, I don't do it to furniture too much. Like I did have a bookshelf I knew I was going to throw away eventually. I put stickers on it just because I could. But I just like putting stickers on computers, man. I don't know what it is. And I like getting magnets for the fridge and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. It's a weird... I think it's from, like, having too many color forms as a kid. I just loved color forms.
Yeah. See, for me...
You know? I think that's what it is.
For me, it got really bad with the vape stuff. And I have a side of this...
You think?
Yeah. Yeah. But I have a side of this bookshelf that nobody ever sees. And I was thinking, I'm going to fill that bitch up. And never did. But I've still
With
got
vape stuff.
I've got like a
Right.
stack of stickers of all of these different companies that I bought from and talked to and interfaced with and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's...
You got nowhere to put them.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could still do it, but I don't think I'm going to. But anyway.
Well, like I really got in the sticker kick. So like when I started getting all these really great koozies, I put stickers all over them too. And like I think you know this. I have from this company, Brewmate. I have every size can that's out there covered. I also have one for bottles. And I don't know why I did this, because I typically only drink out of like one size can, number one. Two, when I get the house, I'm going to be using my kegerator again for beer. I make my own soda, and so I never have cans. Like when I have the kegerator going, like I'm never going to have cans and bottles in the house. Never. Why do I have these? They're like $25 a piece. And I put like $15 worth of stickers on them. What am I gonna do with them?
See, and that's one of the things I've got to do is I've got all these cups are perfect for my water.
You should get one, but you should get one of these.
What is it?
So this is a double vacuum sealed. It's a double vacuum sealed pint glass from the same company. You can get them any color you want. They seal on the top so they don't spill, but they keep stuff cold. Like there have been nights where I poured myself a beer, closed it, put it down like I was going to drink it in a minute. I went to turn on a YouTube video, and the next thing I know, I wake up in the chair because I've passed out. So it's, my body is like, it's 2 a.m. You don't realize it, but you're tired. And I just fall and I go to bed. And the next morning I wake up and there's a full beer sitting here. And I'm like, it's still cold. Same thing for like an unopened beer or a soda in it's just a can. Like you don't have to worry about it going bad because it's still colder than room. It's like you could probably drink it. I can put it right back in the fridge. These are just great for, and they make like the stemless wine glasses you can get like that, but a wine glass is shaped like this. Yes. Take the stem off and it's a glass. Okay, it's a stemless wine glass. That's what it is. Okay. Yeah. So they make those, but like this. So like you have like vacuum sealed, it's spill proof and all that stuff. So they're nice for just about it, like whatever it is you're into.
I think that's.
So whatever.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
Okay. So there's a company. I don't remember what company it is. We're not sponsored by any of these companies, by the way. We're just
no.
We
Brewmate. I do have a referral code for Brewmate. I will say that full disclosure.
I don't have a referral code for anything, except if you hashtag Jim on my tweets. Jim comes and says funny things. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The only
Tag
thing that
Jim
I have,
will give you a dirty joke.
Yeah. The only thing that I have remotely. The what you're talking about is something that I used to use for work all the time, and it was like the super tall. In fact, on set I had them all the time. It wasn't a what is that
Well, it's like a Yeti, but it's not a Yeti.
Yeah, see, I don't have any of the Yeti stuff, but it's just a big water bottle or whatever. The problem is nice. It's super tall and super thick, but it's only 20 ounce. I want 32 ounce. Then maybe I need to get one. I will send you the link. Those I don't know if I must not be a very smart guy because I spill the crap out of those. Yeah, but it's like there's something about I don't like the big ring of water on the inside of that little ledge. Because I don't like straws.
Well, I just showed you it has a cap.
Well, I know. But isn't there...
And you can... And watch this.
But isn't there like a little bit of water there on the top there?
Not anymore.
See, that's what I'm saying. I don't like
look,
that.
This isn't like that. Look, dude, this isn't like that.
Right, but like, okay. Guys, the people that were here yesterday on last night's stream, I'm weird about things.
Yes, you are weird about a lot of things.
Hot dogs and hot dog buns, they need to be the same number. So if there's a company that makes 7 hot dogs in a package, I want to burn the place down. Stop that.
Yeah.
Because you're just making things difficult. Don't
I like
make
buying
a package
an 8-pack.
of 10. If the buns only come in 8, I'm not buying 80 hot dogs so it's equal out, okay? It's not going to happen. So what's the point of you doing that? Why am I going off on this again? I don't know, but
Because you're weird about it, Rob.
I can't stand it.
Well, I'm laughing because I'm the same way. I freak out. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have these hot dogs, and you go, what am I gonna do with the extra buns? You know,
Right,
Like,
exactly. Because like I
But
love
the thing is, when I was a
Hebrew
kid,
National. Love them.
well, when I was a kid, and that happened, I would just make like a peanut butter sandwich with the hot dog bun. It's a good peanut butter sandwich, man.
But it's just it's
But
not right.
the same.
It's not right.
Okay, okay, Rob. Okay, it's okay.
But I came up with all kinds of different. I was like, well, you could just make a little sandwich with that hot dog bun.
You know what actually does work well on those, honestly, like legitimately. Now you can get the fish fillets that are like
Broccoli.
longer, like that. No, the fish fillets that are like a bit longer that you can get
Yes.
frozen. One of them, some tartar sauce, a little bit of cheese,
and
good
then
sandwich.
the magic shell on top.
Who hurt you, Rob? Who hurt you?
Seriously, does anybody actually like magic shell? But it doesn't taste right? It's chocolate. It's meant to be chocolate, but it's a weird
Well,
chocolate.
It's like somewhere in the middle between milk chocolate and dark chocolate is what it is. If you think about it like that, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And the last time I had it would have been about 3 years ago. And it was good. It was nice. But I had the caramel one as well. So I did caramel and the chocolate. And then when they mix together,
It's weird. I went on this weird kind of retro snack kick.
So what are you like buying old bags of Ruffles and eating them or something?
no. Like,
Oh,
hey, give me all your expired stuff. You know, no.
give me some of them there stale chips, man.
No. What I mean is like the stuff that most people, they get older and they move on from that kind of. Like,
Oh, okay.
not many people buy Choco Tacos anymore.
I mean, if you don't like Choco Tacos at any age, what's wrong with you?
Right, but
Also, hi Rez. Thank you for the support. Rez is from my channel.
yes.
Rez is one of my favorite people. They are amazing.
Yeah, Rez has supported this channel too. I mean, he's been here a lot, so yeah.
There you go.
But yeah,
I'm not streaming. He's got to go somewhere. They have to go somewhere.
right.
You know.
But, hey.
Sorry, Rez, by the way, that I'm not streaming that much. It's a thing.
But yeah, man,
coming.
it's
coming back.
like I don't know. There's the Choco Tacos. There was
Yeah.
like cereals that I hadn't had in 20
Yeah.
years.
What about like drumsticks? I love the drumsticks
Yes.
still. And as an adult, you're like, I can buy a box of these because I'm an adult and I can do what I want. But you know what happens? I eat like 3 of them in the first sitting because I'm just like, I want these so bad. And then you're like, I just put 1,500 calories in my body for no reason at all. Why in the fuck did you just do that? You idiot.
Dude, I've done that so many
But you're
times.
like, I don't care.
Or I've done it where in like, man, I really want this, and then completely forget that I have them. And then like 3 months later, you're like, oh yeah. But I'll tell you, the Choco Tacos.
And you're like, I want these now. And
Choco Tacos do not last in this house, and I keep coming up with reasons on why I should have them, but I don't buy them anymore because I know that that's what's gonna happen.
You want to talk about a stupid ass impulse buy? Do you see what those are?
Andy's. My God.
Yeah, I bought a package of them, and I also bought a bunch of these because it's the holiday season. My parents would do that around the holiday season, and I was depressed, and I missed my parents, so I bought candy that reminded me of them and candy jars to go in. Now, as you can see by those jars, I've been a pretty good boy about it. But, you know, and My lady's, she's like, and the thing is, I made it a point to tell my lady about it. And she's like, I want to eat some chocolate. I'm like, well, you need to come over and eat some chocolate. So I have to save some for when she's here. So that's like the one. Honestly, it's not about, oh, I don't want to gain weight or I don't want to have too much blood sugar. It's I want to make sure she's happy. That's the thing that's motivating me from not eating as many. That's weird. My health should come first.
Okay, so like to me, Andy's mints are amazing, but there's a company, and I don't remember the name of them, but I guarantee you we're getting some this year. Because April, I guarantee you knows exactly.
They come in the because of the G, and they come in the package that's like this big. Are you talking about?
Oh,
Like you talking about the same kind of thing?
Sorry,
it's the same thing as those, but it comes in like they're like this big, and they come in a package, right? Giardelli's, I think it is.
No, it's.
You know what I'm talking about, though.
Yes, but no, these are some company in Chicago, and they make like, dude, I'm telling you, we bought them one year, and both of us were sick. You know how like,
You can't stop eating a certain candy.
This is gonna be kind of gross, but it's like you remember vomit burps,
yeah
chocolate mint
yeah
because we ate so many
yeah
and it was
like
just like no you're just like and you're like it's so bitter but chocolate mint but I'm telling you they are the best if you can control yourself. They are, and I love Andy's mints. I love them. These are better than those.
I've probably had the ones you're talking about because I lived in Chicago for how many years, so I think it's probably best if I don't figure out what you're talking about, because I will do that.
I think it was 2 years ago we bought I'm pretty sure we bought a box of the regulars, the good ones, the regular good ones.
Yeah.
And then I bought some crazy variety pack. And it was just like, why did I do
one
this
after
to myself?
Right. You know, another thing I do to myself is when I do open them up to have one, I go straight to like meaning of life, and I go, all right, just one, and I just put one in there, and I wait for myself to explode. You know, because meaning of life is it's only wafer thin. I couldn't eat anything else. I'm absolutely stuff. Fuck off. You know. Those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I don't want to spoil it. But meaning of life, you need to watch that just for the wafer thin mint. You gotta check that out. It's on Netflix, by the way. They just put a bunch of Monty Python stuff like Life of Brian's on there and shit.
But there's
something that's something I got. It's okay. There's something about those mints.
No, I was just gonna say there's something about those. Well, pretty much anything. It's like if it's good, I have a tendency to just drum it into the ground.
The peanut butter egg tree, whatever they're calling it that season, I could buy those by the truckload, and I put them in the fridge. I like them cold. Because they're bigger, they don't get like hard to bite like the cups do. But in the egg form,
Yep.
And I can just how did it get so big? Like that's how that happened, actually. Probably that's a big part of it.
Yeah, you see that? Yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah, right. You see like that trash bag that's full of the yellow wrappers that say Reese's on them from Easter? Yeah, that's what happened. But it's like anything though.
Wait, you went all crazy for a second. Crazy digital. Are you still there?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yes, I am still here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Okay. There we go. There we go. Good job. We're all good. What was the
All right.
Okay. I don't know if you're gonna know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Peanut butter bars. They're small, and they're like they almost are like the just the Butterfinger crunchy part.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
We found a company. I started looking for them, and I found the company that makes them, and I bought like a 40-pound box. It wasn't
Jeez.
40 pounds. It was a lot though. It was so many that, like I almost had a flashback when you said a trash bag full of wrappers. It was a trash bag full of those peanut butter bars. Now, the good thing is I can get them anytime I want now because the Buc-ee's right down the road. They have them on one of the pegs. So I can just take one bag and be good. But no, back then you couldn't find them anywhere. So I had to buy them in bulk from the actual company. But now...
So, you know what Butterfingers are. I'm originally from Pittsburgh. Have you heard of a company called Clark?
Yes.
Okay, so Clark bars, which are like the original before Butterfinger existed.
Right.
And they also are famous for making the Zag Nuts.
Right.
Which is the same thing, but with the toasted coconut outside. I love both of those things to death. Hard to come by anywhere but in the tri-state. Well, when I was a teenager, I worked at a grocery store. And I was paid weekly. I was living with my folks. I didn't have any bills. The car was paid for. What do you think I bought? I had two rituals. At the end of my shift, I always had my shift was over at 9 on a Friday. Because I wasn't dating anybody either. I was a loser. I had a reputation in high school. Everyone thought I was like zooming the girls, but I wasn't dating anybody. I don't know how that happened. It must have been all the metal shirts. They just assumed he's a bad boy. No. I was just a lowly grocery store worker, just doing my thing, reading my metal magazines and my comic books and playing my video games, playing my drums. That's all I did. Video games. But I had a ritual every Friday night when I got paid. I'd cash the check during my lunch. So I had the money. Like I didn't even put it in bank accounts. I just had money. Which is crazy. Like I don't carry cash now. Like who does that? But I would go into the video section, and I've told you this before. I would peruse the VHS tapes, the previewed ones for sale, and I'd buy a couple movies. And then I'd walk over to the candy aisle, and I'd get a big bag of Clark bars and a big bag of Zag Nuts, the little mini size ones. Sometimes some Twizzlers if I wanted to get crazy, and then I would go home.
Twizzler boy.
And, right. Oh, hey, what's up, Twizzler boy? Oh, look, I got them strawberry licorice. Look at the motherfucker. But, so I would go home.
This boy's taking a walk on the wild side with his damn Twizzlers.
Twizzlers, yeah. Why can't you get no black licorice? Well, are you racist or something? What the fuck? I can't believe I just said that. Remember they used to have the chocolate Twizzlers? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, them chocolate motherfuckers.
Chocolate
Yeah, they
Twizzlers.
did. They had them. Yeah. They weren't made of chocolate, but they had a chocolate flavoring to them. They're pretty good. They weren't around for a very long time.
I don't remember those, but...
Like 2 or 3 of them tasted really good, but if you got to a point where you were getting like 10, 12 of them in you, your stomach's going... It was bad.
No.
Not recommended. But that was the thing. This is before I was drinking at all. So this was like I'm getting a 6-pack and I'm going to go home. This was like the equivalent, right? I was very innocent, actually, despite all of my like heavy metal stuff. I was a pretty conservative little kid. I'd go home with this bag of Clark bars and bag of Zag Nuts and sometimes my Twizzlers. Sometimes. But I had this chair. So we had these old living room chairs that they were like a solid piece. And then they had the cushion that would come out so you could clean it. And it had like the stand up, but it had, it could rock and roll and do all that stuff like this. But these were living room chairs from like the late 70s, early 80s. We had them forever. And at one point when my parents replaced that furniture, they said, do you want one of these chairs to your room? I'm like, yeah. And at some point in my junior year of high school, I turned the chair too sharply and the whole bottom just snapped off. And so then I just took it as it was and just put the chair flat on the floor. So it was real low to the ground, which actually made for a pretty good viewing angle for playing games and stuff. And because it was at the foot of my bed, well, now it's like a perfect height for like a little side table almost with the bed. So I'd come home and just plop down on this chair with my Clark bars and my Zagnuts, and I put in whatever movie. And I have a vivid memory of when I came home with Ace Ventura: Pet Detective on VHS, which I had never seen before. I'd never seen it. The only reason I even bought it is because I heard that Cannibal Corpse was in it, and I'm a huge metal guy. And I had a TV and VCR that ran through my stereo for sound, and I would run headphones to that. So I had really good sound. I had nice headphones, these really nice Sony headphones that I had. Not these, but similar. So I was just like that, perfect 80s kid living in the 90s doing this. But it's like 11:30 at night at this point. Parents are in bed at 11. Every night almost without fail. 11:30 the latest if they're doing like news or something.
You froze.
So
you
got a
froze for a second.
hallway. Oh, okay.
I think you're good now.
Well,
Oh.
Are we good?
Well, the sound went.
All right, now we should be okay.
Yeah, I think we're good now.
Okay, so this is a manufactured home, and when you walk in, you've got living room, which leads into the kitchen. Right side of you is like a sitting room, and then there's a hallway runs down the center. Got 2 bedrooms on one end, and then my parents' bedroom all the way at the end of the hall. Well, my bedroom at the time was the sitting room, which we had converted. We put a divider in the open doorway for privacy, and then we have solid doors to get into it where it was like French doors before. So it was a nice space. So I had room to like sit and all that stuff. But I'm right next to my parents' bedroom. So it's 11:30 at night, and I pop in Ace Ventura, and I've got my Clark bars and my Zagnuts. I remember distinctly during the slow motion football thing in the mental hospital. I would actually button her kind of super slow mo. First time I saw that, I laughed so hard I couldn't breathe. It was uncontrollable laughter. I fell out of the chair, and this bag of Zagnuts flew over my head. I was showered with Zagnuts. And I'm like, so you hear, ha 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 ha, oh shit, oh ha ha ha. And my mother, after like 30 seconds, comes into the room and is like, are you okay? And I'm like red in the face, and I'm like, and she's like, what are you doing? Trying to explain it. She's like, well, you woke me up laughing, and I was glad that you're happy and you're having a good time, but you woke me up. I'm like, Mom, I'm sorry, I won't. And thankfully, the rest of the movie wasn't as funny, so it was good. But that was like this just moment. The Zagnuts go one way, I go the other way. I'm laughing like crazy. And there's one other time in that room where something like that happened. This was like 2 years later. I'm playing Resident Evil 1 for the first time in the dark at like midnight. You've played the game before, right? All right. So there's this one part of the game where you unlock a door after like, it takes like an hour to get this freaking door unlocked. It's towards the beginning of the game. And you go down this hallway. A hallway you will go down many times throughout the course of your gameplay. But the first time, you're walking along, looking around, and this zombie dog jumps through a window and lands right in front of you. First time I've ever seen this thing. Music's all hepped up. It's a huge, loud noise. I'm in the dark playing this game wearing headphones. I yelped. I went, ah! And I instinctively paused the game and threw the controller on the bed and threw my headphones off. And I'm like, because the thing is, you can hear from the headphones from the bed. from the music still going, and you look on the screen and you see your inventory. And my mom goes, "Are you okay?" I'm like, I'm just playing a game, and this dog is. You're fine. Yeah, I'm okay. But it's just so stupid to think about it, because what's interesting to me about that story is not "Mom, come in, are you okay?" and all that trash. It was that there had never been a video game like that before, ever. There was nothing like it before.
Yeah.
And so when you're playing a video game up until that point, in 95? It was 95 or 96. I'm pretty sure it was 95. Like, you were in a safe space. You were always in control in a video game for the most part. Games didn't scare you. Like, that just wasn't something that they did. This was the first one where you're like, there was a tension, there was a dread, am I going to have enough shotgun shells? And there was no mercy, because your character died, and it goes, "You died," and you're like, in these big red letters, and you're just like, oh fuck. But now, like, that's a thing. Like, it's a whole genre of games. Like, games can do all kinds of stuff now that they couldn't before.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's crazy. But I remember that because it is like that first time that a game really controlled my emotions in the narrative way that a movie does.
I'll tell you one of the I have a similar story. In fact, Eagle Ford's still here. He might remember this, he might not. But this is probably same time period, 94, 95.
Yep.
And we had our piece of crap Acer PC sitting there, monitor, and it was in the living room. Dad's watching TV. I'm playing games with the headphones on. Now, here's the weird thing, is that when I was younger, I didn't take care of stuff as well as I do now. And if I got mad, I had the tendency to throw the controller down. Then in my Nintendo controller, bang, or whatever, Yep. I was a little bratty kid who couldn't control his temper. So, it's different now. I'm probably, 18, 19, 20, however old, playing Quake. And if you remember, at least for me, it was one of my first forays into because I wasn't into Doom and all that kind of stuff. We didn't have a computer back then. So I'm playing Quake for the first time, and of course I've got the spatial audio as you turn, whatever.
Right.
And you played Quake, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you remember sometimes things wouldn't make a sound until you got close. And then sometimes if you just went into a room, it would like almost scream at you from both sides, right? Yeah. And I remember there was one side story. Trent did he did the soundtrack for it, but he also did some of the sound design. And there's one monster in the game that's like, if you don't go into the room, you just hear it going, and it's Trent. It's Trent's voice. Like, I reckon, I've listened to Nine Inch Nails, for a long time at this point. That's Trent. So I'm going into a hallway, and usually you can stop before you get to the door, and you can hear, or whatever, right?
Right.
I just go into this room, and and I'm like this, and I jump so much, hands still on the mouse. I jump and slam the mouse down. and I take off the headphones, and I look at my dad, and he's looking at me
like, you stupid kid.
You still are throwing stuff when you get mad. I said, I wasn't mad. I was scared out of my mind. Like, it scared me so bad. Like that, and I jumped and mouse down on the desk. It had to have been super crazy loud, but it's like Ooh, like you said, you're like, oh my God, that scared the hell out of me. But
There's
yeah.
one time, this would have been in between those two stories. We did have a PC and we did have Doom. And it was in Dad's office, which was in the hallway, more or less like behind my room. And once in a while, he'd let me have free reign and play and stuff. Like, he was generous about that kind of stuff. You know, some dads aren't like that, but he was cool with it. Playing Doom. I remember one of the first times. I wasn't the first time. It was one of the first times. And the Caco demons in Doom, these big red balls. You've seen them on by now.
Oh yeah.
And I can tell this story. My inspiration for the Roy hiss is the Caco demons from Doom, because they go and it's a really abrupt, like, holy. And there's one time Dad told me this story, and it was one of the stories like he would tell over and over again because he was laughing so hard. He even told it to me like right before he died, because he was laughing so hard. But it was a funnier story when he was hopped up on drugs, let me tell you. When he was pumped full of painkillers, it was even funnier because he was laughing harder. But he says, here's what I heard. All I heard was from the back room. He's in the living room, and he hears, Jesus Christ! And then a thud. Because I went into a room, I opened the door, and there's a Caco demon right here. And Jesus Christ! Fell backwards out of the chair, hit the floor. And then, because it's one of those kind of homes, when you hit the floor, the whole place shakes. And he was like, he says, my first instinct was to make sure you're okay, but I couldn't get up because I was laughing so hard. And he was like, I knew you were okay, and I didn't want to embarrass you, so I just had to try and not laugh so hard. And I remember coming out of the room like a half hour later. He just started laughing for no reason. I'm like, what? He goes, you a little scared playing that game earlier, son? I says, yeah, Pop, I got a little scared. He says, I'm just glad you didn't go through the floor, son. Is everything okay in there? I'm like, yeah, nothing's broken. But just you walk in, Jesus Christ! But his perspective of just hearing out of nowhere, oh, Christ!
Yeah,
I have to say, that story being relayed to me was one of the reasons I did want to have a son. Because I wanted to have one of those. I wanted to catch my kid doing that. Never had that, obviously, but that, like, to me, that had to be like one of his favorite, like, dad moments, you know? I think every father goes through that, where, like, there's one, like I raised a pretty funny fucking kid, or I raised a dumb kid, or whatever. But, oh, man. It forever echoes in my brain, even though I was the one that did it. Jesus Christ!
Well, that's the funny thing is I can imagine what that sounded like. Somebody falling out of a chair like that. Oh.
Yeah.
That sound, I mean.
Well, I bet we could film an extra scene of Roy doing that. See, it would be funny to have a Roy doing a scene like that, but he's playing like the Barbie game or something. He's like scared of like stupid shit.
Hello Kitty Adventures.
Yeah. Right. Right. But for that thing that I told you about in the text message during the show,
yes,
it could be a flashback. This dumb kid. I remember one time he was playing Barbie or some trash, and then he did it, and you could actually have whoa, you could do the whole thing. It'd be funny.
Well, dude, I think we need to call it.
Yeah, I think we do too.
Because I am starving now.
Yes.
Well, it's all about Rob's body tonight. You know, first he has to pee, and now he has.
Anyway, it's time to eat.
Well, you're gonna get some chocolate Twizzlers or something?
Yeah. But Jim.
Yeah.
Buddy, this was a blast. This is so much fun.
My cheeks hurt from laughing.
I know, dude. Oh, I can just do another 90 minutes. Bucho, come on. But
you wouldn't appreciate me, Bucho, if I was always here.
there you go. See, it's the heart makes the something go to
Absence.
the bathroom.
Absinthe makes the heart grow more trippy. Absinthe. I don't know. Something about
That's why I was trying to intentionally mess it up, and somebody goes, you know what? I like that. You know, it's like what was the you know, you can't tidy a room with one broom. No, I guess not. Some of them, if you mess them up, it's just funny. Salted caramel potato chips. No.
See, if I was writing that in the script, you can't tidy a room with one broom. You drop that many potato chips or something?
There you go. An absence in the hand is worth two in the bush. That's also one of the things we used to do. No, we used to mix them up together, you know.
Oh, okay.
You know, like
I gotcha.
We used to on the old podcast there, so. But anyway.
Fool me once.
What?
Fool me once. Shame on you. A fool's paradise 3 times. I don't know. I don't know. That doesn't make sense.
But you can't make an omelet. You can't make an omelet without breaking a few absences. Yeah. What was the one? If you can't take the heat, then let bygones be. Wait. And it's just it's just fun. Anyway, but guys,
if you can't take the heat, let bonfires be bonfires.
Yeah,
Wait.
There you go.
Yeah.
In fact, that's a life lesson. If I had that queued up, we could do that real quick, but we don't. Yeah. So, but guys, Thank you for watching. Jim, thank you again for being on, buddy. It was so much fun. And
absolutely.
Yeah. We'll see you probably Tuesday for some gaming and stuff. So yeah. So y'all have a good night. Y'all have a good weekend. Be safe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Metal.